Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. As you know, boys, the best joke is an inside joke.
Yep.
That was a doozy right there. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell from Kansas City. The Royals and the Angels in the fourth of a four-game series. Thursday night, the Angels picking up a win over the Royals as they erupted in the eighth and ninth innings. Got two in the eighth, four in the ninth, beat up on Davis and then Holland to win. But Friday night, back came Eric Hosmer and the Royals, a home run off Jared Weaver, and Kansas City wins 4-1. Then yesterday, Salvador Perez with a home run and a double in a 6-run second inning off Matt Shoemaker. Johnny Cueto doing what Johnny Cueto does. 8 strong innings. The Royals win 9-4. They have taken 2 of the first 3 in this series. Kansas City with the best record in the American League. The Angels 3 back of the Astros, who won in walk-off fashion today. And the Angels currently tied for the second wild card spot with the Orioles, who won earlier today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kansas City. Dan Schulman, John Kruk, Kurt Schilling. Let's start with the Royals. To the 7th game of the World Series last year. The best record in the American League this year. Schill, when you look at this team, how good are they? How dangerous are they? How ready are they to try to take it a step further?
Well, I think they're as good as their record says they are. A couple hiccups recently. Everybody's asking questions about the bullpen. I think the bullpen's fine. Just sometimes you can't do it all the time. I think Ned Yost is going to have be able to pick and choose as he goes. The question now is how big of a lead they have when they clinch. How do they handle themselves over the final 6 weeks? I've seen teams clinch it, 4 weeks early, and then they show up and they're flat in the playoffs and they're gone. I think it's going to be kind of a test for Ned Yost. He's got to get some guys some rest, get some guys that are hurt coming back, make sure your pitchers stay sharp, get their rest, and, maybe rest Cueto, maybe rest the back end of that bullpen. But they need to keep playing and winning ball games to keep that lead.
Just a year ago, it was the Angels who had the best record in the American League, all of baseball, in fact, before they were knocked out of the playoffs by the Royals. The Angels, a far cry from the best record in the American League right now. They've lost 5 out of 6 on this road trip. They've lost 16 of their last 22 overall. What's going wrong right now for the Angels?
Well, they can't score runs, and they've tried to upgrade with the trade deadline. They brought in David Murphy, Shane Victorino, David DeJesus, and Connor Gillespie. So far, it hasn't panned out. But to me, if this team is going to win tonight, and right now, the way the standings are, if they don't win tonight, they're not in the postseason. I'm not saying this is a must-win, but this is a very important win to get on this homestand, a road trip, and win another game. But it's up to Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. They're going to have to carry them. They have to look around and say, okay, we're short in some areas. We have to do more. Can they do that without putting extra pressure on themselves? I think they can, because they both have done it for a long time.
And speaking of Mike Trout, he's standing by live on the field with Buster Olney.
Mike, you guys have been struggling. What needs to change?
Yeah, no, we got to stay positive. Obviously, we got to try to get that big hit. We have getting guys on base, just trying to get that big hit.
Last time you faced Jordano Ventura, you guys had a dust-up. Where does it stand with him, and what's he like to face as a pitcher?
Yeah, no, he's got unbelievable stuff. He throws 100 mile an hour. Just emotions were high that game. I got hit off him. He got me out a couple times. Just his emotions were high, and we're out there playing the game of baseball.
Mike, thanks. Dan, back to you.
All right, Buster, thank you. Looking forward to this one. We'll get a chance to watch Mike Trout in action, generally acclaimed as the best player in baseball. He and Albert Pujols will need to be great down the stretch for the Angels to make it back to the postseason. They'll take on the high-flying Kansas City Royals. Is anybody hotter right now than Eric Hosmer? The 4th and final game of this series comes your way from Kauffman Stadium next. shovel-loaded grillers. Try all 3 if you dare. And in part by Chevrolet. Find new roads. And national mortgage lender Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. They've been grilling outside, tailgating for hours here in advance of this baseball game between the Angels and the Royals. Time now to take a look at the starting lineup tonight for the Los Angeles Angels. As always, it is presented by Taco Bell. This is not a great offensive team. As Crucky talked about, they really rely on Trout and Pujols, and Trout has been struggling in the month of August. And Albert Pujols, although he did hit his 31st home run of the season last night, he has been stumbling a little bit compared to how he was earlier in the season. 241, but that home run was his first since late July. They need a lot from these two guys who have given them a lot until the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you wonder if the home run derby at the All-Star game took a little bit out of Albert, not getting that break like an older player would like to have. But he's 3 for 5 in the first game they faced Yordano Ventura this year. And he can look back on that and say, okay, I know this guy. I have a good feeling against him. Let's see what happens, though.
Shill, what do people need to know about Yordano Ventura?
Stuff. Got lots of stuff. This is a hard power arm with outstanding breaking stuff. To make that final leap for me, he's got to generate command of the fastball inside the strike zone. You see the opponent's batting average, runners in scoring position. You know, some of that's a little bit of luck, but there's a giant piece of that.
Fly ball to left field on the first pitch of the ball game, and drifting over is Paulo Orlando to make the catch. Johnny Giavitella, a former Royal, is retired.
As I say, a giant piece of that is fastball command. When you don't, he throws hard, but he throws his fastball. He's got to get to pitching, and I think once he does that, he becomes an elite arm, elite pitcher.
Here's Cole Calhoun having another solid season, career high in RBI, 16 home runs. He's hit in the 1, 2, 3, and 4 spots for the Angels this year. Mike Scioscia in a seemingly never-ending quest to try to get the offense going. The Angels led the majors in runs last year, but a far cry from that this year. Trout and Pujols were 2-3. Now they're 3-4. Eric Ibar's hit 1. Eric Ibar's hit 5. He's hitting 6 tonight. Calhoun's bounced around. Mike Scioscia's obviously been around the block a time or two. His 16th year as the manager of the Angels, including a World Series championship in 2002.
Hey, Clark, I got to ask you. You hear a lot of guys who say, I can't hit in the 5-hole. I can't hit in the 2-hole. This guy's hit up and down the lineup. Is that completely a mental thing?
Well, it's not where he hits in the lineup. It's who's hitting behind him. And when you have Mike Trout and Albert Pujols behind you, that's a great place to hit. When he was hitting 4th, Trout was 2nd, Albert was 3rd. Yeah, not a lot behind him, and right. When they change the way they pitch to you, like you saw here, fastball, first 2 pitches, you know, that's what you're going to get when you're facing these guys with Trout and Pujols behind you.
But a guy like Carl Crawford, I don't want to hit first, and
well, now that I don't understand that. I mean, you know,
you see guys.
God blessed him with unbelievable speed. Where should he hit?
Right.
He's not a 40 homer guy and 100 RBI guy hitting in the middle of the lineup.
2-1 the count on Calhoun. And the fastball at 98 misses high for ball 3.
I mean, this is one of the situations here where if you're Cole Calhoun, 3-1 count, Mike Trout coming up, even though Trout's struggling, Albert Pujols behind him, even though Albert's not swinging it that great lately, he's still probably going to, 99% of the time he's going to get a fastball.
Yeah.
And Calhoun can hit a fastball now.
And you've seen this at bat's kind of a nice little example of lack of fastball command.
Gets a call on the outside edge, full count.
And that's a pitch that gets you right back in the at bat, a little bit off the plate. He gets the call, but if you're Cole Calhoun, you can't hit that pitch. So smart move not to swing at. Some guys think, oh, I'm getting a fastball, I'm swinging.
And a chopper to the right side. Hosmer underhands to Ventura, covering in plenty of time. Now Trout, the MVP last year, the runner-up for the MVP each of the 2 prior years, and he's certainly got to be considered one of the top 2 candidates in the American League this year. He and Josh Donaldson are both getting a lot of attention, and the numbers are incredible for him. 33 home runs on the season already for Trout, who just turned 24 9 days ago.
Wait till he figures the league out.
He has gone back to taking just about every first pitch. He was swinging at them more earlier in the season. Since the beginning of June, he's only swinging at the first pitch 5% of the time.
I don't understand that at all.
And I'll tell you what, to put that in perspective, I used that first pitch swing percentage for me was always a very big statistic. That 5% is like ridiculously low.
This one is carrying deep into the corner. The catch will be made by Alex Rios. And the inning is over. To the bottom of the first, no score in Kansas City. And why not? 70-46 and on a clear path back to the postseason. Let's take a look now with the Royals starting lineup presented by Taco Bell. The Royals are 5th in the American League in runs scored, and Lorenzo Cain is having an outstanding season, hitting well over 329 doubles, stealing bases, and he's backed up by a guy, Crucky, as hot as anybody in Eric Hosmer.
Yeah, he is, and not only offensively, defensively, Hosmer is one of the best in the game, but as hot as he's swinging the bat right now, how does Santiago pitch to him if the game is on, if the runner's in scoring position? Because he's not only is he hit for extra base hits, he's driving in big runs too.
Hector Santiago, an all-star this year, is on the mound for the Angels, and the first pitch line to center. It's going to drop for a base hit. Alcides Escobar is aboard for Kansas City.
Well, Hector Santiago, you can see that the opponent's batting average obviously has good stuff against lefties. A lot of that is due to his mechanics. The one I like is the 12 starts of one earned run or fewer. It means he's got the ability to put it together. I think his mechanics are the thing that are kind of stopping him from taking it to the next level. Guy who really, if you watch him when he winds up, he cranks himself, turns himself big and steps across his body, which means he's going to have trouble getting inside to righties on a consistent basis.
Santiago 7-6 at 2.87 ERA. The numbers, though, not as good since the All-Star break. Facing Ben Zobrist, picked up just before the end of July from Oakland, and a guy who, as everybody knows, can play all over the field, and he's a switch hitter. About as versatile as any player can be. Where do you ultimately see Zobrist fitting in with the Royals?
I think when Alex Gordon comes back, and as much as they like the defense of Omar Infante, his offense has really declined this year. I can see Ben Zobrist playing second base as the season progresses and into the postseason, if and when they get there.
He's at second base tonight. Generally, though, as Crucky mentioned, has been playing left for the injured Gordon. A pulled groin expected. They hope to begin a rehab assignment later this week, although there's no firm timetable for he'll go here on this date, he'll rejoin Kansas City on that date. But the beauty of a 12-game lead is you don't have to rush these things.
No, and that's the great position that they're in right now. And you know, people talk about Detroit, you know, oh gosh, how can they trade off Cespedes and David Price and whoever? You know, I think Dave Dombrowski, before he resigned, looked at the Royals and said that's why, because they're that good.
One, two. Fouled back by Zobrist.
Yeah, Gordon's BP today was phenomenal. I mean, he looked great swinging the bat in batting practice today. And that's pregame ritual for all of us right there. But yeah, his batting practice was pretty good.
Great defensive left fielder, helps with the bat as well. They've been filling in with the likes of Orlando, who's in the lineup tonight, also Gerard Dyson. This ball's carrying, and it's over the head of David DeJesus and all the way to the base of the fence. Escobar around third, heading home, will score without a throw on the double by Zobrist.
Yes, it's twilight. It can be tough sometimes picking up the ball. But you see Santiago, like Kurt said, he's trying to throw a slider down and in to Zobrist, and it stayed too much on the plate. Watch David DeJesus in left field. His first couple steps were in. Thought the ball was going to be more shallow, and it just clears his head. And good read by Escobar, who was pretty much standing on second base. Once that ball hit the ground, it got over to DeJesus' head, scored easily, and now you're looking at a big inning.
I think they're going to appeal second. Yep. Somebody missed second base.
Oh, he did. The Angels thought that maybe Escobar missed second. Is there someone in each dugout, a coach, who's supposed to watch opposing base runners touch every base?
The first baseman's usually on a ball like that, since there's never going to be a play at first. The first baseman's supposed to follow and make sure he touches first and second. And of course, if he rounds second too big, he's there to be on the base to take a throw. But yeah, there's coaches that watch all that stuff.
So great start for the Royals here in the bottom of the first. Lorenzo Cain now the batter. Let's get a look at second base and see if in fact Escobar did touch. And there's the foot on the corner of the bag.
I mean, he only had 3/4 of his foot on there. You can see why you'd miss that. Want to appeal it.
Hey, when you're struggling, you kind of reach for stuff.
Trust me.
Cain having a great season.
Great at bat.
Hard hit ground ball, but it is to the right side to advance the runner. One thing that Kansas City has done exceptionally well this season is jump on teams in the first inning. Leading the American League in batting average in the first inning. 324 as a team, and second in runs scored in the first inning in the league.
Well, I know we're, 3 hitters into the game, but I'm going to tell you, if Santiago can't fix that coming inside to righties, he has not got one pitch in there. This is probably not going to be a long night for him.
He is tough on lefties, but he's got one of the toughest lefties in baseball up here in Hosmer, hitting .403 over his last 35 games. And first inning, Crocky, the infield's already in for the Angels.
Well, that tells you two things: that we don't know if we're going to score off Ventura, and two, we have to get Santiago out of this inning with only giving up one, and just for his confidence. You can't let a ground ball right now score a run.
And because the infield is in, that ball will squirt through into left for an RBI single for Hosmer.
And Eric Hosmer should go shake Lorenzo Cain's hand, because if Lorenzo Cain didn't move Ben Zobrist, Eric Ibar makes that play easy. But with the infield in and Ibar shifting up the middle, we can see it still jams him a little bit. But when the infield's in, all you have to do is hit it away from the infield with any sort of good piece of the bat on the ball. It's going to get through, and that's one that Eric Hosmer is going to thank Lorenzo Cain for later, I'm sure.
10th straight game with an RBI for Hosmer. 2-0 Royals here in the bottom of the first. The number 5 hitter is Kendrys Morales, their DH, who's also having a great year. Kind of quietly has driven in 82 runs on the season. That began the day as the 3rd most in the American League.
Well, I don't think it's any surprise to anyone in that Royals dugout. This guy, switch hitter, but you watch his approach when there's runners in scoring position. It's always trying to hit the ball the other way, up the middle or the other way.
A guy, of course, familiar to Angels fans, a former Angel who suffered a devastating injury after hitting a walk-off home run back in 2010 rounded the bases and kind of jumped onto home plate, and in the celebration dislocated his left ankle, ended up missing an entire season, and more than that, actually, closer to 2 years because of the injury. And it's taken him a while to get all the way back to what he used to be. Was with Seattle, was with Minnesota, but he appears to have found a home here with the Royals.
And I don't want to rain on the parade, but if I'm a GM, I don't let my players do that. I mean, that cost him 2 years of his career.
Yep. He has been steady as she goes for the Royals. He has started every game.
Well, you think about the batting order, and you think if you're Eric Hosmer, okay, I'm hitting fourth. You know, you have a switch hitter hitting behind you. It makes it so much more difficult for the opposing manager to say, okay, I'm going to bring in a lefty to face Hosmer, because you know you're only going to get one at bat, one hitter.
Weekly hit back toward the mound. Santiago to second, one on to first in time. Morales does not run well, and that's a 1-4-3 inning-ending double play. Albert Pujols to lead it off for the Angels, but they're down 2-0. Top of the second here in Kansas City, the Royals with an early 2-0 lead on the Angels, trying to take 3 out of 4 in this series. Albert Pujols will lead it off for the Angels. Hit a home run in last night's game for the Angels, his first since July 29th, the 551st home run of Pujols' career, and the 31st of the season as he checks the swing on the breaking ball. Trout with 33, Pujols with 31. Trying to become the first pair of teammates to hit 40 or more in a season since Jermaine Dye and Jim Thome did it for the White Sox back in 2006.
Well, Albert keeps swinging at those pitches there. He's not going to do it. I watched the first few games of this series, and he's been chasing that ball down and out of the strike zone a lot.
On the appeal, he didn't go. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But I'm sorry. That right there, the take is an indicator. And he's not seeing that ball well, or he's not got a feel for it, because he almost check swung at that ball, and that's not a pitch Albert Pujols used to go out. He used to spit on that easily.
Two. It's down and in.
What was that? Was that a changeup?
It's a curveball. Listen, when it's one of those things, a young pitcher, he's trying to strike him out right now.
He overthrew it?
Yeah, and so you're trying to make a nasty pitch instead of just making a pitch.
High fastball grounded out to short, right at Escobar. One down. Well, we mentioned back in the first inning, Yordano Ventura, young, talented, but working on his emotions a little bit. The Angels still don't know why, but Ventura had words with Mike Trout on a couple of occasions in a game on April the 12th. In his very next start, he hit Brett Lawrie. Remember, Lawrie had slid hard into Escobar the day before. That incited things on both sides. And then in his very next start, he has words with Adam Eaton of the White Sox. And the bench is clear again. Ventura would eventually receive a 7-game suspension. These were 3 consecutive starts. He's also had a flexor tendon strain this year. He's left 2 games because of cramps. He was sent down to the minors, but called back up a day later when Jason Vargas hurt his elbow. This was their opening day starter. And did it just all come a little bit too quickly for him this year?
There are 2 things here. Number one, the acquisition of Johnny Cueto this might be one of the biggest reasons that's a huge play in addition to the pitching piece. Number 2, I think, and this is just my opinion, if you ever seen a guy go from the middle of the bullpen to a closer and then they become a tough guy because the closer's supposed to be this way, I don't think he was ready mentally to be that opening day guy, and he assumed, wait, I'm a number 1, I'm supposed to act this way, I'm supposed to be tough, and he got caught up in it. You don't mind that emotional stuff as long as you can dial it back.
Nasty stuff as he gets David Murphy 2 down.
Now, the thing about emotion, it's one thing to have emotion, and most players need it to thrive. But it's another thing when you start inciting.
Yeah.
And all you're going to do when you incite, when you're an American League pitcher, is you're going to get one of your guys hurt.
Ultimately, it's selfish because you're putting your personal interest and dissatisfaction above the team winning and losing the game, and that's a problem. He's mad because guys are hitting line drives off of him, and the answer is, well, make them stop. But look, he's got a little Pedro Martinez to him in the swagger, and he's got the stuff.
Here's Eric Ibar to take a strike. Ibar has been dealing with soreness in his lower back and was in the lineup at the beginning of the day. Mike Scioscia said he'd go out, he'd hit, and he'd see how he felt, and he feels good enough to stay in the lineup. The Angels really without a suitable replacement, and Mike Scioscia has always felt, Crucky, like this guy is underappreciated, but the Angels know how much he means to him.
Well, without question, he's a leader of that infield, but when you watch Eric Ibar, what he can do with the bat, hit and run, he can lay down bunts, he can bunt for hits. You know, he's one of the few guys in this lineup that you will Mike Scioscia can put plays on knowing that he is more than capable of doing the job that he asks him to do. And when you're struggling to score runs like they are, you know, if Murphy or Albert got on, it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Scioscia put something on. You got to do something to get an offense going.
Because Ibar was out for a few games, a couple of days ago, the Angels pinch hit for Taylor Featherston, who started the game at short, and they didn't have anybody else left on the bench. So in the 9th inning of the game, the Angels wound up with 4 players on the infield, all of whom were playing a position they had never played in the major leagues. Pujols at third, Giovitella at short, Gillespie at second, and Cole Calhoun came in to play first base. So the Angels trying to figure it out. Ibar trying to figure out Ventura. Nobody's been able to solve them just yet. 2-0 Royals early. hashtag #RepMyTeam with a picture of how you're supporting your team, and your tweet could wind up on TV later tonight. Let me go back and clean up a mistake I made about Pujols playing third base. He has played it very sporadically, a game or two each of the last 3 years with the Angels, and he actually played it a fair bit way back when he broke in with the Cardinals. In his first couple of years with the Cardinals, not only did he play first and third, he also played some left and right.
Yeah, that's why Dan has us. Keep him in line.
To help clean up my messes.
Amazing the things you remember.
Bottom of the second, 2-0 Royals. Mike Moustakas will lead it off against Hector Santiago. Moustakas, 276 on the season, 11 home runs. 0 for 11 in his career, though, against Santiago. As the big sweeping breaking ball misses down and away. After Moustakas, Salvador Perez, and then Alex Rios. The Royals currently with an 11.5 game lead on Minnesota. The Twins won today. They move a game over 500.
That's amazing.
Another a game over 500.
Yeah, you didn't know what they were going to be this year, and you have to give a lot of credit to Paul Molitor. I know Ned Yost, A.J. Hinch, even Joe Girardi are going to get a lot of consideration for manager of the year. But
this ball's hit well to right field, but Calhoun is there to make the catch, one down.
One of the issues I think with Hector Santiago getting that next level is he does not have the ability to get the ball inside to righties consistently. Watch where everyone, they're trying to go in, watch every pitch. He's missing middle to middle out. He doesn't have the inside corner open. Now when he needed to make a big pitch, he went changeup down and away and got a rollover. He's got to be able to get the ball the other side of the plate. He just threw the first one of the game, and I think a lot of it is mechanically induced. He's got mechanics that aren't conducive to throwing to that right side of the plate.
Salvador Perez, the batter. First pitch swinging, ground ball short, backhanded eye bar. And Perez, assuming he was going to be thrown out rather easily, so didn't push it down the line. 2 down.
I think that's one part of Salvador's game that is not in the arsenal, and that's running.
That's the only part of his game he doesn't have.
He's quickly becoming the Yadier Molina of the American League, if he hasn't already.
He's a big catcher, and he's a big time catcher, plays as much as anybody. There's Alex Rios, the right fielder, hitting .239. I think a guy who, if you go back many years ago at this point, I think a lot of people looked at him as a young player and said, boy, this guy's really going to turn into something. He came up with Toronto, had one 24 homer season, had a couple of 20+ homer seasons for Chicago. But did you expect him to have more of a career than he's had?
Yeah, but when he was with Toronto, I remember he made the All-Star team, I believe, when he was with Toronto, and then he got an infection in his leg, and it never seemed like he's been the same player. He's dabbled with different stances, and sometimes that can hurt you.
Inning over, end of 2, 2-0 Royals. Mazda. Driving matters. We're here in steamy Kansas City. 88 degrees at game time. The Royals lead the Angels 2-0 as we go to the top of the third. Look at the action coming up this week on ESPN. Tomorrow night, the Giants and the Cardinals. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. The Tigers travel to Wrigley for a game on Wednesday. The Cubs' 9-game winning streak ended today with a loss to the White Sox. And then it'll be the Giants again as we will meet up with everybody again in Pittsburgh 1 week from tonight. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The Pirates with a big 8-1 win over the Mets today. Conor Gillespie will lead it off for the Angels here in the third. The Pirates won. The Cardinals lost. So the Pirates are now 5 games back of St. Louis in the National League Central.
And the Washington Nationals keep losing.
They are under 500. They were beaten by the Giants today. They were shut out by the Giants today. All Madison Bumgarner did was hit a home run and strike out 14.
That's all.
So the Giants are 11 over. They're trying to chase down either the Dodgers in the West. Dodgers won today, beat Cincinnati, or the Pirates and or the Cubs in the wild card race. Meanwhile, for the Nationals, the only good news today was that the Mets lost, but Washington is still 4.5 out in the National League East. They've lost 6 in a row.
And the Cubs lost.
Ended their 9-game winning streak.
Let me ask you guys something, and it's the best of both worlds. I think the answer: you have to win a winner take all game today. You take Kershaw or Bumgarner?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Well, maybe I'll turn around and ask the pitcher that question in a moment. But first down to the field. Here's Buster Olney.
We know that the Kansas City Royals have become the destination for a lot of free agent pitchers. Chris Young, Ryan Madsen, Chris Medlin. Well, the Royals just announced that they signed Jabba Chamberlain and Wandy Rodriguez to minor league contracts. So this has become standard operating procedure for the Royals. Stockpiles and veterans. See what you got.
Because they don't have enough depth in their bullpen.
You know what it is?
Yeah, just Madsen.
No, but you know what it is, honestly? You have to leave spring training, I think, with 15 big league pitchers. And 3 or 4 of those guys have to be in AAA and either rehabbing or okay with it, because you don't get through the season with a 12-man staff. Nobody does.
There's David DeJesus, one of a number of players the Angels picked up towards the end of July to try to ignite the offense. They got David Murphy. They got David DeJesus. They got Shane Victorino. These guys play in the corner spots in the outfield sometimes, DHing sometimes. Calhoun generally in right. DeJesus is his left tonight. David Murphy is DHing in this game. But no matter what they have tried so far, it hasn't really helped.
You've heard Chase Utley's name being mentioned. There's Victorino, but you heard, possibly to play second a couple days a week and DH the rest of the time. I mean, they need offense badly.
Two and one the count on DeJesus. Buster, what can you tell us about Utley and the possibility of him winding up at Anaheim?
That teams are waiting for the Phillies, for Chase Utley to make a decision, because there certainly is interest from the Cubs, from the Angels, from the Giants. But as you guys know, Utley has a full no-trade clause. He completely controls the situation. The Angels, as Crucky mentioned, are looking at him as a possible DH. The Giants are interested as a stopgap at second base while they're waiting for Joe Panik. The Cubs really don't have an established second baseman, but it all really comes down to what Chase Utley wants to do. 13 hits in his first 26 at-bats off the disabled list.
And I think if you're Chase Utley nearing the end of your career, I think I'd be willing to move. Go somewhere you have a chance.
I mean, I used to always look at that and kind of play that game. Well, if I was him, I'd definitely do this. But you know what? You never get a chance to look behind the scenes. The family situation. Right. Tony Gwynn had multiple chances to leave San Diego when they weren't good. He never did. He loved the place, and he stayed his whole career.
Full count pitch. And it's ripped into right field, a base hit. The first hit of the night for the Angels. Sliding stop by Rios, but it's in and out of his glove, and Jesus will slide into second as Rios goes back down to a knee on the grass in right field. May be slightly shaken up. Now back up on his feet.
Wow, it looks like it's awful wet. Now look at his knee.
Yeah.
And you watch
on the throw, his spikes never caught.
But you watch Alex Rios right here going after this ball. Now this is a good play to slide, even though he bobbled. If you look at the turf he's taken up, and then when he turns to throw, I mean, this is, look, this is what I do. I have to get break this, stop this ball from getting to the wall. And if he doesn't slip, he's got a
in and out of his
legitimate
glove, and Jesus
of getting to Jesus right there. Wow, you're good. You threw your voice.
I wasn't even moving my lips. And now a wild pitch allows DeJesus to go to third.
I think Salvador Perez looked a little upset right there.
I think it was a cross-up.
I don't know if it was a cross-up or just a bad miss, but he kind of went after that ball like he was ticked.
Well, here's where you have Chris Iannetta is struggling offensively. Infield's back. Just put the ball in play. You got to get this run. Make it a 2-1 game. Then you have the top of your order up and see what happens.
The call is a pass ball on Perez, not a wild pitch, allowing DeJesus to go to third. So it's runner at third, 1 out. Angels with their first opportunity of the night, down 2-0 in the third. Iannetta, as you can see, 0 for his last 13, 3 for his last 40.
Eesh.
Started the year in a terrible slump, then hit reasonably well for a while, but now slumping again. Called strike, 1 and 2.
Wow. That was there's so much late movement on his fastball. Guys like this give the K zone a little bit of a fit because of that late life. But he threw the pitch that Perez was looking for, the exact pitch. Curveball.
Got a piece of it. Big high chopper, but foul up the third baseline. And they'll have to do it all over again.
The guy who's the most disappointed that ball was called foul was Chris Iannetta. And he drove, hit that ball was.
It's a single and an RBI.
It's a, well, it's probably not a single, but it's a fielder's choice in an RBI. But when you watch Ventura's curveball, it's not that. It's not a 12-6, and it's not one that moves away from righties. It looks like it backs up on righties.
Well, it's his delivery, his release is very. That's where I think he ends up lacking consistency with his fastball command, and that is also going to make his breaking ball finish inconsistently. Having said that, his stuff is still just premium. He doesn't want fastball away here. I guess he's thinking he wants to run one in his hands again or try and throw a curveball below the zone.
Fastball away at 99, swing and a miss.
You know what, though? That was great. That was a great look into Salvador Perez's influence. He did not want to go fastball away. He shook it. Sal went to something else, finally went back to it and said, hey, this is the pitch I want you to throw. And as a pitcher, you throw that pitch with as much confidence as you do as if you called it. Because he's telling Ventura, hey, I know what this guy, we can get him with. Great pitch.
So 2 down and back to the top of the order for Giavotella. He sends one foul off to the right.
First pitch swing in both at bats so far for Johnny Giavotella.
Oh, you got a guy throwing 98?
I don't take chances.
No.
You ain't going to hit the breaking ball. You ain't going to hit the changeup. Whatever else he throws off speed, you ain't going to hit that. You got to hit 98.
No one. Wow. 99 show with about 6 inches of movement on it.
It's 6 inches of movement in the last 6 inches of movement. it's late life.
It's a reverse Mariano cutter.
It's like a left-handed cutter is what it is at 99. And so he doesn't have to be particular as often as other guys from a command perspective. But if he gets that way, you might have another Pedro Martinez in the works.
Breaking ball grounded to short. Charged by Escobar. Throws on the run, and the inning is over. A double, a pass ball, but the Angels can't capitalize. League program as part of our Sunday night coverage. Tonight we welcome Lacoma East Little League from a rural Missouri community encompassing 5 school districts. They've been involved in Little League for more than 50 years, and this year their minor and major softball teams won first place in state tournament play, and their intermediate baseball team placed third. And they are out here in big numbers tonight. We saw before the game Eric Hosmer spent some quality time with those young ball players. Getting fired up for Williamsport?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be so cool.
I can't remember which team. They had a kid throwing about 852 miles an hour. And they're going to be there.
Yeah, from 45 feet.
Yeah, he was throwing 80, 81. I'm like, and
That's like 107.
And the poor kids on the other team, you're like, oh my gosh, just, you know.
Go get him next year.
Well, once the pitcher hit the 3-run homer, you think, okay, mercy rule. This one's over.
Strike 3 called, and Santiago makes quick work of Paulo Orlando.
First real, one of the few fastballs in he's thrown, executed. That was perfect. His mechanics are going to create issues for him throwing to that inside corner. It's going to be almost impossible to do consistently, but look at that. Look at the glove. Everything he's thrown inside tonight has been out here. And when you look at that, this pitch right here doesn't do any more perfect. Look at the difference.
A little pop up to first, 2 down. Escobar retired.
And so here's what I thought about mechanically. If you look at his mechanics, his foot is planted right here, and everything in baseball works in right angles. This is a straight line to home plate. He's pointed this way. For him to throw a ball to the inside half, he has to throw the ball literally across his body and across home plate. And he doesn't finish through. He's got to. I think he needs to straighten his front foot out just a little bit to gain the ability to command. That's why the lefties and righties, the disparity in batting averages.
He's not staying in the doorway.
He is not staying in the doorway. Good use of doorway.
Here's Ben Zobrist. You've gotten much better with the telestrator over the course.
I like to draw. I mean, I would prefer to draw more, but I don't want to draw like as the action's happening.
Can you please start drawing at home, just to get a hobby?
A strike to Zobrist, 1-1.
But if you watch he's thrown. Look at where the ball's coming out, right there. His ball's coming out there. The inside part of the plate is over here. The ball has to go this way, and that gives you very little of home plate, the front side. That's a great pitch.
Well, and what it does too as a hitter, it gives you a longer look at it.
For the righty, but for the lefty Crucky as you were, that doesn't look like any fun.
Well, it's running away from you.
Yeah.
But.
And he's releasing the ball behind you.
Yeah, but if you can take away the outside corner except for his breaking ball.
Yeah.
But a lot of misses like that.
Well, that's the non-competitive pitch. That didn't do anything. That's a changeup. He was trying to get him to chase the ball down and away, and he was taking it out of his hand. So you basically, effectively, just added a pitch to your pitch count with no effect. And as you get older, those are the things you stop doing. There.
Finds the inside corner there.
That right there, again, that is a perfect pitch. Everything about it makes it almost impossible to hit, but it's almost impossible to consistently throw that same pitch.
And you see the Royals hitters just taking it because they can't hit it because they know he probably can't come in there twice in a row.
Ball 4, a 2-out walk. Now Lorenzo Cain. Pretty well-known story by now. A guy who just took up baseball as a high schooler, really hadn't played it at all. Younger than that. Ned Yost was in the Milwaukee organization when Lorenzo Cain was a minor leaguer in the Brewers organization, and Cain was one of the 4 young players who went to Kansas City in the Zach Greinke deal. Escobar was another one. Alcides Escobar, but Ned Yost thinking back to his days in the Brewers organization and thought that Lorenzo Cain was very raw, which he was, but had a chance to be a heck of a Major League Baseball player, which he certainly is.
Well, he saw the athletic gifts that Lorenzo Cain possessed, the speed, the way the ball jumped off the bat.
At the end of the bat, foul.
The amazing thing, though, Crucky, I played with hundreds of guys who were so athletically gifted, you kind of chuckle like, okay, there's no way this guy's not going to make it. But being athletically gifted, being a great baseball player, it doesn't you got to have I think like a baseball IQ.
Yeah.
And I think also we were joking about it, but not getting the wear and tear on his body, starting the game later probably didn't hurt him.
What, playing like 120 games as a 10-year-old?
Right.
Yeah, that's always smart.
Yeah.
Zobrist the lead. And the 0-1 to Kane. There for a strike, 0-2.
Well, it's been a wide strike zone pretty much all night, and that's just a perfect pitch by Santiago, getting that pitch down and away.
Chris Iannetta keeping that there, presenting that pretty good as well. Trying to go below, get a chase down. I think down and in probably. So that's the challenging part, is when you don't command the ball as consistently as you can. Is if I want you to swing at a ball, I have to make it look like a strike as long as I can. That ball is literally a ball out of his hand.
Royals with a couple of runs in the first on an RBI double by Ben Zobrist and an RBI single by Eric Hosmer, trying to add to their lead here in the bottom of the third. Zobrist preoccupying Santiago right now.
Well, I'm not so sure that wasn't Kane trying to get a peek at what they're going to do here. If you watch the Iannetta, he was setting up way inside, and as soon as Santiago stepped, Kane looked down to kind of get a feel for where he was. And he's going to go back in there now.
Better get it in there.
Oh.
Driven to center. Racing back, Trout on the track, makes the catch just shy of the fence, and the inning is over. One great center fielder takes a potential extra base hit away from another, and the inning is over. Time also available live on Watch ESPN. Two contending teams in the National League. Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors are celebrating August as the inaugural Play Ball Month. More than 125 city mayors are hosting play ball events. To learn more, go to playball.org and get out and play. Between innings, Buster Olney with Royals manager Ned Yost.
Ned, we see Eric Hosmer on a real roll here, driving in runs. When he's going well, what's he doing well?
Well, he's hitting the ball to all fields, and he's got power to all fields. This is one of the biggest parks in the American League, and he can hit the ball out of the ballpark anywhere, down the left field, left center, center field, but he uses the whole field when he's going good.
How would you assess Yordan Ventura tonight?
He's throwing the ball good. He's got his fastball up to 100 miles an hour, good changeup, good breaking ball. He's commanding his pitches. So far, so good.
Ned, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
And a swing and a miss with the first offering of the top of the fourth from Cole Calhoun, who will be followed by Mike Trout and then Albert Pujols. 0-2, excuse me, 0-2 the count now on Calhoun, who grounded out his first time up. 2-0 the Royals lead. This is the fourth and final game of this series. Kansas City has won 2 of the first 3. The Angels are at the end of a tough road trip. They were swept in Chicago by the White Sox. They've lost 2 out of 3 here. They've lost 11 of their last 12 away from home. And they've lost 16 of their last 22 overall. And they sit 3 games back at the Astros for top spot in the American League West.
Pitch. 80-mile-an-hour changeup. And a good one. Good spot, too. Back. The slider. He's falling off of it. You can see him falling left. So when the ball comes out of his hand, he's falling left. The ball's coming out of his hand, and it's backing up.
It'd be nice if he knew he was doing it.
Well, here's the
thing.
thing.
Hitter, it's a mess.
It's he is so close to kind of being a Pedro at the end there with that finish. Going to go back with another. Now just throw the pitch. Don't make it nasty. He's going to go change up here, and this is the one you don't want to see him bounce it, 5 feet short of the plate. Just throw it.
He looked a little annoyed that time was called. To step off, regroup.
Going
quick pitch.
Yep. Ground ball left side. Moustakas makes the play.
Well, we talked about quick pitcher to Cole Calhoun, but watch him with Mike Trout. Nice, easy, 95, strike 1. Now watch him quick pitch Trout. This is why Trout hits his ball to right field. He couldn't get out in front of it, a little bit late, and hits that deep fly ball to right field. But you see how quick that is. You think Johnny Cueto had any influence on Yordan Ventura already since he's been a Kansas City Royal? And I think more pitchers should do it because guys are hitting more. Seems like with the rhythm sort of hitting, and there you go, Mike Trout. I'm not swinging at the first pitch. I still like it though.
Yeah. Well, he took the first one. I kind of looked at it, and we were looking at each other. Fastball middle in-ish. Look at this. Fastball, that ball's middle, but it's moving and it's upper 90s.
Yeah, it's mid to upper 90s with movement, but I still think, that's still a smart thing to do because now what's Ventura do next at bat? Okay, so he's swinging now early. I might have to throw a breaking ball, and he hasn't proven he can command that.
You can push pitchers in the direction you want to push them in by doing things. You don't want to give away bats or outs, but you can swing early to get a 1-0 count later by getting a breaking ball.
Albert Pujols 0 for 1, grounded out. Ventura has faced 12 Angels tonight. He has retired 11 of them. De Jesus doubled with 1 out in the third, was stranded at third. Pujols tied for 4th in the American League with 31 home runs on the season.
Hey,
what was that?
He tried to quick pitch curveball.
Quick pitch and couldn't get his balance.
He tried to quick pitch a curveball. He went to curveball.
What do you think Pujols is thinking?
He's thinking.
Well, he was smiling after the first quick pitch.
Yeah, he said, "Thank goodness he didn't throw that. That could have hit me anywhere."
As a hitter, quick pitching, Crucky, didn't get under your skin at all?
I've never had it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I have a
there was some guy, but before they started calling that you have to stop for like 55 seconds or else they're going to call a balk. Guys from the stretch could do it because you didn't really have to come to a stop when I first came up.
And I'm going to guess.
Pujols lines it to left center. It'll drop for a base hit.
That in the next year or two, that's going to change that rule.
What about the Cueto shoulder shift?
I love it. You know what? Albert looking at Cueto like, come on, why'd you teach him that? You see that? I mean, it's another fastball running in. I mean,
gets in on him a little bit.
Gets in on him, but Oh, this guy's not a Hall of Famer because he misses those pitches. Even when he doesn't hit them well, they're still hit hard enough to get into the outfield for a hit. But you know the pitching machines with the wheels? I couldn't hit those. Like we did that once in the cages in spring training. It was worthless. It was just swinging and swinging. Yeah, couldn't hit.
You're guessing. You guess.
David Murphy, the batter.
Yeah, look at Albert after he gets to first base. He's looking right at Cueto thinking, okay, why are you, look at him, why are you teaching him that stuff, that quick pitch stuff? I know it's you. You're the one who did it. Guy throwing 100 miles an hour and that quick pitching me. Cueto got a laugh out of it too.
Always get wise. You see you're sitting next to him too.
I think if I was every starting pitcher in the Royals rotation, I'd be sitting next to him.
What a pickup for them. What a
Well, not again. The pitching is obvious, but I'm not sure that they were, expecting the amount of influence and the good way he's given to both Ventura and Volquez.
swing and a miss at 99. Murphy strikes out for the second time, and the inning is over. Number 4 on the night for Yordano Ventura. Two 2-0 Royals going bottom 4 between innings. Buster Olney with Angels manager Mike Scioscia.
Like we see Ventura quick pitching. What's the adjustment for your hitters with that?
Well, there's always a tempo and timing adjustment you have with every delivery, but Johnny Cueto, Guthrie was doing a little bit, and now Ventura. It's just something that you have to get used to, and you always have to get set in the box a little bit earlier. I think the guys, if you're an offensive player with a bigger leg kick, I think it can affect you more than guys that are grounded. And most of our guys are pretty grounded.
Based on what you've seen in Hector Santiago tonight, how would you compare that with what you've seen in recent outings?
Well, outside of Hector's probably first 10 pitches, he's been throwing the ball the way we expect. I think he threw the ball well his last start and had good stuff. And right now, if he can keep us in this game, hopefully we'll get a chance to win it.
Mike, thanks.
And boy, do they need a win. Having lost 5 of the first 6 on this road trip, and with Houston winning today, and with Baltimore winning today, the Orioles and the Angels now tied for the second wild card spot in the American League. Eric Hosmer remains hot, had an RBI single through a drawn-in infield back in the first inning. Third Royal ever with an RBI in 10 straight games. You saw Frank White, Mike Sweeney were the others. Frank White a part of some great Royals teams back in the day. over 400 over a 35-game stretch.
Well, I think last year's postseason, but when he started understanding that he could hit the ball out to left field just as easily as he can to right field, that's when you become a better hitter. And that's hard for a young player to figure out.
And a leadoff walk.
You can be told that and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter until you do it. And once he started doing it, it's like, okay, now I don't have to try to leak out early and pull balls to hit home runs. And then your average goes up because you can hit the ball to all fields.
The amazing thing about those numbers is, talking about all-time world, George Brett almost did that for a full season. 1980 when he hit 390, the 440 on base percentage. But more importantly, brought us ribs tonight.
You want to tell the story, Crocky?
No.
You want to tell part of the story?
No.
It was ugly.
Well, so George Brett has a buddy who
Mitch is Meach.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, Mitch said, "Hey, I'm going to have George get in touch with you to set up, getting some ribs to you guys or whatever." And I said, "Oh, that'd be great." So now for 2 years, I've been texting back and forth with this George fellow until today, yesterday, when I finally realized that George fellow was George Brett. And well, as a former player, how would you know who George Brett is? Oh my goodness, what an embarrassment.
But I was just asking you to say, hey, George Brett brought in some ribs, and they were great. I didn't know you were going to actually do that.
The fun part was that, like, none of us that you told the story to were shocked.
That's
how the
not
story
good.
went. Because yesterday you were talking, and he's like, yeah, well, George has got to be over at the stadium to present Mike Sweeney with an award.
Yeah, because I said, well, what are you guys doing when I land? I land at like 6 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever. What are you guys doing there? Oh, George can't be here. He has to present Mike Sweeney with this Hall of Fame jersey. He's getting inducted in the Royals Hall of Fame. Like,
that's when the light bulb went off?
That's George Brett. I've been texting with George Brett. What a knucklehead.
Oh, wow.
I'm such a people person. I don't ask for last names.
You two guys crushed the ribs.
It looked like a carnivore had come through the booth and just ate everything.
Yeah,
they were good.
The ones I actually could taste were good.
Yeah. And we're just lucky with the white shirt.
I was going to say, amazingly.
Well, that's a skilled eater right there.
Yeah,
a lot of practice.
Yeah, we've had a lot of practice not spilling food. You just think we just spilled food, we might not weigh as much.
Strike 3 called to get Morales. Well, as you know, guys, there's something called the Snoop Cam, this little camera we look into when we're sitting in the booth. And it happens to be functional before the game.
Oh, beautiful.
Look at the barbecue.
Look at his cheek. Look at his cheek.
But I'm keeping that.
Look, barbecue.
No, clear
That's
that.
my first time with the telestrator.
I was trying to. We were sitting.
Hardly noticeable, really.
Yeah, I couldn't feel it.
Yeah. There's Moustakas.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
But now, my buddy George,
Brett, third baseman.
What did he say? Last week or last couple weeks ago, he was in Alaska and he caught a salmon. So he brought some smoked salmon for, people who don't eat ribs, which
is nobody.
I don't know who that would be.
Yeah, well, there's only one guy that we know of.
And you guys crushed the salmon too, huh?
Apparently.
Well, he brought crackers and cream cheese and onion, and he brought wet wipes for us for when we were done to get all the barbecue sauce and toothpicks. He said, I can't let you guys go on the air with barbecue sauce all over your face or meat between your teeth.
Right. But he didn't realize the Snoop came. I had to use toothpicks. I had like a pig left in my mouth.
He could play a little bit too.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think still the only player to win a batting title in 3 different decades, right? He won one in '76, one in '81, I believe, and one in '90.
Yeah,
what a swing!
Him and Mattingly kind of reminded me of each other from that left side.
2-0 Royals as they bat here in the bottom of the 4th. Runner at first, 1 out, and a pop up into shallow left field. Jesus coming in makes the catch, 2 down. Well, if you're too young to have watched George Brett play baseball, 3,154 hits, 21 years for Kansas City, and one of 4 players ever with 3,000 hits, 300 homers, and a 300 career batting average. You're in good company when the other 3 guys on the list are Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and Stan Musial.
I just like my favorite highlight is the one of him leaving the dugout at Yankee Stadium to go after
Pine Tar game.
Yeah.
To go after the umpire.
Goose Goss just told me the whole story. He goes, he said you couldn't put pine tar as the reason that thing went in the upper deck.
No.
Here's Salvador Perez.
Guys, my favorite story about George Brett is he was once asked about how he wanted to end his career, and he said he wanted to hit a ground ball to second base and run as hard as he could and try to beat out the ball. And that really, I always thought, encapsulated how he played.
He got after it on the field. He was a great player. Beautiful swing. Used the whole field. Ground ball out to second. And the force there will end the inning. 2-0 at the end of 4 by popular demand. More Crucky and Schill.
Wait,
getting it done.
Why are they going to speed it up?
And with all the success the Royals had last year, all the excitement they have generated in the last couple of years, no surprise that they are setting some attendance records here at Kauffman Stadium. The average attendance per game is up 9,000 from last year. And it's the first time since 1991 they have reached 2 million in a season. And that, like the Royals in general, shows no sign of slowing down.
And the local TV's through the roof. But this is a lot of these Midwest cities, they're great baseball cities.
And it's not like they're watching a bad product. They're arguably the best defensive team in baseball. They got power, they got speed, they got a bullpen that's as good as any. So why wouldn't you want to come watch them?
Eric Ibar hooks one into right field for a base hit. Rios will cut it off and hold him to a single. Royals getting all the way to Game 7 of the World Series last year and having a great season this year, although again they don't have much power. fewest in the American League, but they put the ball in play. They use their speed. They are a great defensive team. They have a deep and talented bullpen. And when you add all of that up, I know, Crucky, you were told there would be no math. But when you add all that up, it's a 70-46 record, the best in the American League.
And in the day and age of
math,
glitz, and glamour, they don't have a 40 home run guy. They don't have a 25. Well, Cueto now, but I mean, there's nobody that you say, oh, we got to tune in to watch the Hank Aaron of the club. They just win, and it's fun to watch. Honestly, it reminds me of the Cardinals of the 90s and the 2000s. That they were defensively good. They were fast. They just win games, and at the end of the day, that's what people pay to see.
If you look around the American League right now, there are a lot of teams kind of congested in the middle, battling for the wild card spot. But it appears to be clear who the best team in the American League is right now. Now, Toronto had that huge run. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. They're battling with the Yankees atop the AL East. The West right now is between the Astros and the Angels. The Royals have been the most consistent and the best team all season long in the American League.
Yeah, without question. And we thought Detroit. I thought Detroit, big, full year out of David Price. I thought that could be the difference. But once Miguel got hurt and they started trading off pieces, and Victor was struggling left-handed, and he went on the DL. This is. You forgot how good they were last year in the postseason, and you didn't know if they could do it for a full season. But yeah, they're so much better now than they were a month and a half ago, because now they have Cueto and Zobrist. They have a legitimate number one, and they have a guy that's a switch hitter, can hit anywhere in the lineup and play anywhere in the field.
What is their biggest concern for each of you? If they have a concern, what is it?
Starting pitching, to me.
Well, I was going to say starting pitching, but the guy behind the plate for me is the reason all that other stuff works. You don't have they do great defensively. The rotation could be something. This guy behind the plate is in every game, and calling a game is such a big deal to him that he helps his pitchers become better than they could be. And to have a guy back there, that's such a stable thing.
Guys, I'll kick in one. I'm wondering about their bullpen a little bit, because Greg Holland has struggled somewhat this year. Talking with Ned Yost, it didn't seem like that he's that concerned about it. Wade Davis has missed some time lately because he's had some stiffness in his back, and the good thing is with a big lead, they have time to address that. But given the volatility of bullpens, I think it's something worth watching down the stretch.
They're probably deeper than they were last year in the bullpen, but Holland has not been quite the same pitcher that you've been used to seeing the last couple of years. Dropped out and left by Orlando, but they're going to get the force at second.
Well, Paulo Orlando comes in on this ball hit by DeJesus, and it looked like he, do I dive, do I stay up, do I dive, do I stay up, and by then it handcuffed him. And you see where he catches this ball, basically got like he got jammed hitting. It just got in on him, and it hits off the end of his glove, or the side of his glove, and he couldn't get it. And Ibar, smart base run, because if he comes up and if he catches that ball and Ibar's not moving back toward first, then he can throw Ibar out at first base for double play if he catches it. So Ibar had to retreat once it hit his glove.
Perez comes up firing down to first. DeJesus dives back in safely.
Now that was like a show off right there. Perez made an unbelievable scoop, throws a rocket, and Hawthorne makes an unbelievable scoop.
Well, that's a good time for a catcher to throw if he can glove a scoop, because you're taught as a base runner, if you see a ball in the dirt, if it gets away from the catcher, you can advance to second, and so you try to get a bigger secondary lead once you see the ball hit the dirt. And those guys can scoop it with their glove and come up throwing. You can catch a lot of guys. He's pretty special, both of them. See that gold thing on his chest protector and in his glove? I never got one of those, Dan.
Don't let him kid you.
A little more nimble than he likes to give himself credit for, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, special.
Not quite a Hosmer at first?
Well, I'd take on Hosmer in a rib eating contest.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But baseball wise, no, I wish. This is a guy that another guy that the Angels have to get going, and Iannetta, to get off the eating subject.
He'll take a walk. Follow your favorite team and players all season with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat now. 2 on with 2 out for the Angels here in the 5th inning. They're trailing the Royals 2-0. The hits are even at 3 apiece. And Moustakas, the third baseman, has come to the mound to talk with Ventura and Perez as they go back to the top of the order for Johnny Giavotella.
Sorry, just saying, you noticed that meeting right there was a little bit more of Perez telling Ventura what's going to go on as opposed to a discussion, and that's a respect thing. It's a good thing too.
Up and in, ball 1.
And a nice little touch there. He gave him the pitch at the mound, so you saw when Ventura looked in, he just said, all right, come on, bring it. No sign, so the second baseman, the runner on second, didn't have a chance to take a look.
There's one big issue for Ventura. He was tough as nails last year with the runners in scoring position. The batting average up over 300 in these situations against him this year.
And that's, what I was talking about earlier about fastball command. When you are a thrower and you haven't gotten to that point where you can spot your fastball, those things will happen. Big league hitters will seek out pitches with runners in scoring position instead of chase. But his stuff is just electric.
Change up at 90. 1-2.
You got a lot of things you can do here. You started the at bat with a good running fastball in, fastball away, tail back over, change up. I think maybe he tries to go curveball below the zone here, or paint him with a fastball away.
See Perez looking at Giavotella's feet to see if he moved anywhere.
Ground ball to second. Inning over. 2 more men stranded by the Angels. 2-0 Royals. Middle of 5.
The Royals, and you got a new play-by-play guy.
Well,
John Shambi, John Kirchhoff. Look, Schulman told me he wanted to do some radio. I heard there was food over here.
Well, I don't know about you, Crocky, but it's much more relaxed in the booth right now.
Well, and the correct word, he's smart. He said there was food.
Yeah,
here.
we had food.
I got a bad report. I got a really bad report.
No, they were
you got a good report.
We had food over here.
Yeah, but
Delivered by Hall of Famer George Brett, by the way.
Who he just met for the first time in his life.
Texting with your friend George
for 2 years.
Yeah. You are razor sharp.
It is much more relaxed over here right now.
Oh, I'm fat too. I gotta stop.
Hey, I'm making you look thin right now.
Yeah.
Rio's taking a pitch downstairs. Ball 1 from the lefty Santiago.
What's Dan getting? An update on a Little League game or something? What's he doing?
He's just over there with Singleton doing some radio.
Wow, I didn't know
He's got a
he could do
face
that.
for radio. Show me.
Whoops.
There, he's excited.
I think he's away from us. Yeah.
Emphasis on excited.
Right. That's fine. I feel much more in control over here now. We got something working.
Like how it just evenly distributes the weight problem.
Oh, Rios
just missed it.
Lifts this to left. De Jesus settling under it. Yeah, pulls it down. Yeah, Shulman over there with my buddy Chris Singleton. I work with every night on Sundays on the radio.
How does that work with you and Singy? Because Singy seems to be a guy that likes to stay in shape, which is sickening.
Yeah, he likes to say. He's also, by the way, he's gotten into a place and it's difficult. If it's not bad enough in terms of him being in shape, now he's the vegan guy.
Oh. Yeah, that wouldn't go over here.
No.
He should have been in here when we were slapping down a couple slabs of ribs.
We ate a herd of pig.
Yeah.
Are they herds?
I don't know.
Okay. That's.
It was a lot.
We'll be diagramming sentences later in the inning. This one popped up left side. 2 down. All right, so they're going to put a graphic up on the television, is what I'm told.
You want me to do it?
Nah, it's all right. Fans watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 devices. It's MLB.TV Premium and the #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and much more every night on every device. MLB.TV.
Wow. You know when you have to turn it to the side to get the stuff from falling out on your shirt?
That's a quality dog.
Great sandwich.
Yeah, it's a good dog right there.
Look at that.
That was a good read, Boog.
Boog.
Appreciate that.
Unbelievable. We weren't watching or listening.
That's better than anyone I've heard this year.
Well, I mean, we don't listen to Dan when he does it. Why should we listen to you? Alcides Escobar up for the 3rd time.
2 down with the bases empty. Yeah, I like that.
I don't think we need either one of you two.
No.
Nice quick inning, though, Boog.
Good talk, you guys. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. That was tremendous. 6-pitch inning. I tell you what, I'll come back for more. We'll see you later.
Team. Every Sunday, be sure to send in a picture of how you support your team, and your tweet could wind up on TV. As could John Shelby, evidently. Did you miss me?
That was a great
idea. Did you miss me?
No, not in the least. That was a good
not in the least.
I actually didn't know he was left until John started talking.
Did you enjoy working with a professional?
He was a pro.
So he's a real pro.
Tremendous read. The spot
it was
he did.
phenomenal.
Felt good.
Yeah.
Wow. I miss you.
Here's the risk you take with leaving us for an inning.
Yeah.
You just found out you're replaceable. You're the voice. We understand that. You're great at what you do, but you're replaceable.
I got to tell you, Singy was. He seemed pretty. He gave up Boop pretty easily too.
Well, he's doing push-ups in between innings, probably.
Yeah.
Eating
Sawyer.
How did our friends in the truck handle the surprise?
How would we know? We don't listen to them either.
You know, there's a truck where people do work and actually get us on the air, right? Here's a drive, deep right center field, off the wall on the fly for Cole Calhoun, and he is thinking 3. Relay, not in time. And a leadoff triple here for the Angels in the 6th.
As always, watch the glove. Watch the glove. Ball didn't get out there. I think Salvador wanted that ball to start away and go off.
He's been pitching Calhoun away his first couple at bats. And
well, if you're going to stay away, you got to make great pitches.
Yeah, it's got to be down and away. Lefty can get to that pitch up and away.
Good swing on that ball too. Now watch. This will be an important test here for especially for your young pitchers. Now, if you're going to go for a strikeout, you got to make pitches. You don't try and throw the ball harder.
The batter, Mike Trout. And can the Angels capitalize? They're 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. They're 197 as a team with runners in scoring possession in August. That sweep they had in Chicago this week, losing 3 in a row to the White Sox. They went 1 for 32 in that series with runners in scoring position. And here's Trout quickly in an 0-2 hole.
And they need this run. Somehow, some way, they got to get this run in. Infield's back. A ground ball anywhere except for Ventura is going to score him. Trout takes 2 breaking balls for strikes.
And Ventura tries to overthrow.
That's why he hit 100. But see, the 97 down and away on the corner is every bit as good, if not 100 times better than that pitch right there.
Royals will concede a run on a ground ball.
He's going to try and get him to. I think he wants to go back in. First sign he gave him was fastball in. He shook away. Changeup.
And a wild pitch will bring in the run. Tried to overthrow that pitch too, or didn't try to. He overthrew that pitch.
He did, and that's again. And for you young pitchers watching this, I'm trying to critique within the context of the big leagues, right? That's something you can't do. You have to have confidence. He's calling a changeup there, wants it bounced, but he throws a pitch you can't defend. You got to be able. And you know, this is a young guy.
Quick pitch there.
Yep.
He's done that a few times in this one, and that one he kind of just overthrew again.
Now he's taking a little walk. Does he? I mean, can he come unsettled that quickly?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. And I think he's looking over at Cueto, which I think is a great thing. Fastball away.
And a check swing foul off.
And a huge miss. That ball was up and in around his letters. Watch. This is just, again, velocity cures most ills. He's sitting up, Salvador's sitting down in. I want this ball away. That ball's chest high in, off.
Yeah, that'd have been ball 4 if Trout didn't.
But the light will click for this kid at some point. At some point, he's going to realize 96 down and away is perfectly fine. It'll make this curveball even that much better.
Wow, that was a pretty good one.
Yep. Without the overthrown changeup, there's a runner at third, 1 out. Watch first pitch. That's a pitch that he hit off Greinke for a homer in the All-Star game. He took it, hung a breaking ball, overthrew a fastball, overthrew a changeup to score the run, overthrew another fastball now. That was the first pitch that he got through the entire bat. He finished right. So much potential there. He's good as is, but if he can fix the end of that delivery and get to finishing and stand down, he becomes otherworldly.
Here's Pujols, 1 for 2. Coming back our way, just over top of us, a level above the broadcast booths here at Kauffman Stadium.
I got it. I'll do this one.
I tried that in Boston.
I know.
It didn't work. It ball spun on me a little bit.
Breaking ball, bouncer to third. Plenty of time for Moustakas.
Well, when you throw 98, 99, you get away with stuff. This is a great curveball no matter how hard you throw it. It's up a little bit, but you can't. I don't think, Crucky, you can speak to it. When you got to look for 98.
Wow, especially the pitch before when it was 98 at his chest and he checked swung and fouled it off.
So there, Ventura did a little, not a shoulder shimmy like Cueto, but a bit of a shoulder turn. Murphy didn't like it and he asked for time.
Well, he has such an abbreviated windup that you do the shoulder thing. You can call timeout before he actually gets in his motion.
He's really mixing it up. And a fly ball hit deep down the right field line. Did he get enough? He did. David Murphy with a home run to tie the game. And the former Cleveland Indian picked up near the end of July, bringing the Angels back into a tie here in Kansas City.
Well, again, look at where he's wanting to pitch, down and away. That ball, Crucky, middle.
Well, yeah, and it's still at what, 88, 90 miles an hour.
He's out in front of it a little bit.
Yeah, he was out in front of just a little, but he still had enough left in the tank. That ball was way out of here.
There's Ibar.
I kind of like that pitch.
Yeah.
Because he just gave up a home run. He gave up the lead. Tie game now. And you would think, okay, fastball at 190.
Well, I think, again, this is where Salvador Perez, to me, will far outvalue his contract, whatever it is his ability to kind of husband along a game, to mentor guys, to coach, to be a pitching coach. Good catchers are like that because he cares about the game call. And those guys were hard to find. Now, this is a pitch he wants down or below the zone.
And a little number back to the first base side of the mound. Ventura with time, and he will get Ibar to win the inning. But the Angels have tied it. Calhoun triples, scores on a wild pitch. 2 batters later, David Murphy sends one out to right. 2-2, mid-6. Bell is brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Making news today around baseball, Milwaukee Brewers minor league player David Denson has become the first openly gay player on a team affiliated with a Major League Baseball organization. 20-year-old first baseman who plays in the Rookie Pioneer League, a 15th round pick in 2013. He's hitting .245 this year in 42 games. With more, let's go down to Buster Olney.
Yeah, guys, and he did an interview with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel in which he referenced the response of teammates that he got, which was positive. He said, talking with my teammates, they gave me the confidence I needed coming out to them. They said, you're still our teammate, you're still our brother. We kind of had an idea, but your sexuality has nothing to do with your ability. You're still a ball player at the end of the day. We don't treat you any different. We've got your back. And today, Ryan Braun, actually, of course, playing for the big league team in the Brewers organization, said, I think everybody is supportive. Overall, we realize it's a courageous decision by him to come out and embrace his true self. And, guys, one of the people he talked to is Major League Baseball's ambassador of inclusion, Billy Beane, who I covered with the Padres in '93 and '94. And he didn't come out until after his career was over. And part of the reason why was he didn't know what the response of his teammates was going to be. So he didn't even tell his best friends on the team, guys like Brad Ausmus and Trevor Hoffman, it's a sign of how far we've come in this conversation.
Yeah, bit by bit, this is becoming more commonplace in professional sports. What was your first reactions?
I had no reaction. You know, the only concern I would have is, can you play? Can you help us win? And if you can, who cares what you do? Who cares? It doesn't matter to me.
I really, really want us to get to a place.
Zobrist sends one toward the right field corner. That is a foul ball.
Where it stops being courageous. Right. I mean, and I've coached kids, and I've coached in women's softball, and I don't care. Nobody should care. Why would you care? You're a first baseman. Can you go to your right, and can you hit with runners in scoring position? Because if you can do those things, I don't care. And you know, it's so. I know I played with gay players. I know who they were. They knew I knew who they. I didn't care. They were great teammates. I mean, we just have this image of it being something. If it's foreign to you, it's foreign to you. But so what? And the fact that I'm still bothered by the fact that. You think about conversations in the clubhouse. This is the most macho place in the world. And that's not going to change overnight. But the fact that he had to have courage to do this still means we're not in the right place.
Zobrist now pops up the next pitch into shallow left. And Jesus is there, one down. Do you think the feelings you guys just gave, that you don't care if you can play, you can play, do you think that is the feeling of the majority of athletes at this point?
I'll tell you this: if there's leaders in clubhouses, they'll make it not matter, because that's the kind of thing that, okay, all right, you're gay, who do we play tomorrow?
Right.
That should be it. Yep. Because I'm not gay, I'm heterosexual. Why would you care who I'm married to, who I sleep? I don't care. And that's the kind of thing that, but we've made sports and athletes out to be these tough, macho guys. And when you get down to it, we're not. We're athletically gifted. God gave us gifts. Other than that, we're people. We make the same mistakes everybody else does, and we make choices that everybody else does.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. 2-2 tie in the bottom of the sixth inning. The Angels just got two in the top half to tie it, including one on a home run by David Murphy. Foul back, 1-1.
And you know, it's funny because we talk about this, but the last thing I'll say is, just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean you don't like them. People make decisions, people do things.
It's obvious they watched our telecast.
Right. Look at you and I.
And again, just go back to the bottom line is, when you're in this, when you play 162 games and that daily grind of playing, traveling, I mean, that's your family for 7 months or 6 months or however long it is. All you care about, I don't care what you do when we're away from here. It makes no difference to me. What can you do to help us win the game today? That's all.
The one thing you realize, for me, in coaching elite athletes, either male or female, and playing with elite male athletes, integrity has nothing to do with sexual orientation, and it never will.
Three and one, the count on Cain. Kauffman Stadium. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. Fourth and final game of this series. The Royals have won 2 of the first 3. This game is tied. The Royals first in the Central, the Angels second in the West, as Kane hits one sharply and right through the legs of Connor Gillespie at third and all the way down into the corner. Kane is at second.
That's a ball. Looked like it got on Connor Gillespie a little quicker than what he thought it was going to. Sharply hit ball by Lorenzo Kane. You see Santiago looked like he's trying to throw a cutter in there on Kane's hands.
Yeah.
Caught too much of the plate. Kane just turns on this ball, but you know, you would look at Connor Gillespie right there. It just looked like it got on him quick. He was expecting it to bounce up, but you know, when a ball's hit that hard, normally they don't bounce up on you. You got to stay down on that ball. I always tell kids when you're coaching them, if it bounces over your glove, there's nothing you can do about it, but it should never go under your glove. That's how you catch grounders. That's how you catch scoops from first base, you know, as first baseman. But you know, here's where the Kansas City Royals can capitalize on this. After the Angels tie it up, you make an error, and now all of a sudden, you know, you got Hosmer and Kendrys Morales, their 2 RBI guys hit.
2-base error on Gillespie. Base open as Hosmer comes up. Now you do have the lefty-lefty advantage if you're the Angels, but in Hosmer you're talking about one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
But I don't think you don't take away a pitcher's strength, and his strength is getting left-handed hitters out.
He's holding lefties to a .203 batting average this year. A look back at the runner, and Hosmer takes a strike, 1-1. Santiago gave up hits to 3 of the first 4 batters he faced tonight. The Royals scored 2 runs in the first. He has not given up a hit since the first inning. Well, he had a big swing at that one.
He got away with that
Big
one.
time.
That was almost 4-2. I mean, that's a hanger.
And there's another reason mechanically he has issues staying consistent. Throwing across your body, that breaking ball, you've got to finish way out in front to finish it. That ball's, he did get away with one.
And this is where Hosmer's been good with 2 strikes, taking what the pitcher gives you. Ibar's kind of shaded more towards the second base bag than the third base bag, so there's that big hole where he got his first base hit to drive in a run, his first at bat. If Santiago stays away, he could hit one in that hole and score Kane again.
Way inside.
Now you saw Iannetta give him the glove like that's a good pitch. That to me was, he was saying, yeah, we just set up a pitch, but now I think Santiago kind of wants to do something different. I think they're talking about, hey, let's try and get a punch out here. If we walk him, we're okay. But once you get the 2 strikes, you hate to give that away.
Getting loud here in Kansas City. Great speed at second and Kane. And the 2-2 to Hosmer is strike 3 called over the inside corner.
That was about as tough as you can get. Now watch, non-competitive, nasty pitch. Got away with one. Good setup pitch, doubles him up in. K-Zone says no. And there's, lost in that pitch right there is the Chris Iannetta keeping that ball in a place to get a called strike. And I think maybe last year he doesn't do that.
And now with Kendrys Morales up, they will issue the intentional walk and then take their chances with the left-hand hitting Mike Moustakas.
Watch his glove. He goes to the ball, brings it to him instead of reaching out to catch it. That's framing. That's framing. Soft hands. Used to hear Bob Boone talk about your hand being a pillow. Let the ball come at you, come to you, and receive it rather than going to get it.
Moustakas has never had a hit off Santiago. Well, that breaking ball, Crunky's going to look like it's going to hit you in the right hip, and it winds up in the other batter's
Yeah, that's the troubles you have as a left-handed hitter against Santiago, is that big crossfire, and the breaking ball starts out pretty much right out of the umpire, who's standing right behind second base, or right behind the pitcher, in between the pitcher and second base. Yeah, you got to just tell yourself, front shoulder, stay in on it.
Outside ball 2. Show you got Salvador Perez, a dangerous right-handed batter on deck. So what does Santiago have to be thinking about on this pitch?
Well, you're thinking about, you're pitching to him with the guy on deck in the mind. You've got 2 outs. You don't have to worry about the base runners doing things. You have to focus on making pitches to get the hitter out. But it's where both of these guys, in the context of being big league pitchers, kind of suffer a little bit from lack of fastball command.
Fouled back, 2-1.
Great pitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy, Mike Moustakas, a younger player, 2-0. You know, you're always taught 2-0, look middle in, and, you know, try to get something you can pull and elevate.
Here's the thing about location. That was an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. He just threw a fastball to a fastball hitter in a fastball count. It was only 88, but the spot where it was what made it the great pitch it was.
Yeah, the location made it 108. And if you're Moustakas, you watch how he pitched Hosmer. You know, he did go away, but then he came in. So right now, if you're Moustakas, you can't just zone in one location.
The 2-1. High in the air to center field, but not deep at all. Trout is there. And the inning is over. 2 men left on. 6 in the books at Kauffman Stadium, all tied up at 2. and the Cardinals coming your way at 8 Eastern. Wednesday night, the Cubbies, who would have won 9 in a row until losing to the White Sox earlier today, they'll host the Tigers. And then a week from tonight, we are headed back to Pittsburgh as they host the Giants. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. And the likely matchup 1 week from tonight, Mr. Pasquarelli tells us, is Mike Leake for the Giants and Francisco Liriano for the Pirates. There's Connor Gillespie. We saw the error on him a half inning ago. He is filling in for the injured David Freese at third base for the Angels. Freese is out with a broken index finger right now, and a little bit perhaps slower coming back than they had anticipated. Apparently he can swing the bat okay, but he's having trouble gripping and throwing the baseball. But as Mike Scioscia said, they don't have room to carry him as a DH on the roster right now. They need him back as a third baseman.
The way their offense has been going, I think it might sacrifice the throwing aspect of playing third base if he can drive in a run or two.
All right, now they're hoping to get whatever they can out of some of the new guys, like Murphy, who homered tonight.
Yep.
Like David DeJesus, like Shane Victorino. Up high with a breaking ball, 2-2.
That's 4 pitches right there that kind of give you insight into the ceiling and the issue with this amazing arm. You get a breaking ball strike, fastball paint in, then he throws a changeup straight into the ground, overthrows a breaking ball, finds himself 2-2. I keep harping on it, but I'll tell you what, when this guy turns that final corner, I think Johnny Cueto's going to help him do that. He's going to be something real special.
It wouldn't surprise me if he quick pitched him right here. A little gamesmanship. You step out, I'm going to adjust my hat and step off the mound and grab the rosin bag.
And as far as the quick pitching, Kruggy, I mean, I can only think of one really good pitcher in history that was ever that different. Tiant did that wind up in the crank like Johnny Cueto, and there's a reason. To me, it'd be like going up, as a hitter and doing a high leg kick on one swing, and then standing like Pete Rose on another.
I have tried that.
And you all, I know
that don't work.
You guys have all tried that.
Cueto seems to be able to do things effortlessly that would make other pitchers crazy as Gillespie strikes out.
So, this is why this kid is going to be great and why he's not as consistent as he could be right now. Watch the first pitch. Breaking ball kind of backs up on him a little bit. Paint inside at 98. He throws a changeup straight into the ground. All of this is because of his finish. If you watch and look at him and Pedro Martinez in slow motion, right up until about the end, they're almost exactly the same. But where Pedro finished and extended and reached out, he stands tall. Yordano stands tall and doesn't get through the pitch as consistently as he needs to.
David DeJesus.
I got to tell you, watching catchers that with soft hands is such a different thing.
By soft hands, you mean not reaching for the ball?
Just watch how the ball comes into his glove. That's 96 miles an hour, and he's catching that like it's a wiffle ball. Doug Mirabelli was that way. He had, in addition to being able to catch a knuckleball, he had incredibly soft hands.
100th pitch of the night for Yordano Ventura, fouled off by DeJesus, and there is bullpen activity right now for the Royals, and as if 98-99 wasn't enough, here's 99-100 in the bullpen in Kelvin Herrera.
And they wonder why Holland might be struggling a little bit. Well, most of the time he's following Kelvin Herrera and then Wade Davis throwing 98 to 100. And Holland only throws 97, so you got to be licking your chops when those other guys are out of the game.
Wade Davis has been as good a reliever as there has been in baseball the last couple of years. Has been dealing with some tightness in his back. Hasn't pitched much recently. And a call that looked like it was off the outside corner. DeJesus doesn't like it. Strikeout number 7 for Ventura.
can't hit that.
Well, you can't hit it because you shouldn't have to
right.
try
no,
to hit it.
Shouldn't. It's not a strike. But that's a Salvador Perez strike. That's what I'd call it.
Yeah, I know if I say something, they're going to run me, but that was awful.
What's he need, Phil? Towel off a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm watching. I've tried to pick up on Salvador Perez's right shin guard because I thought he had like something on. Like, you know, catchers will keep the ball rough with pine tar sometimes. Maybe he got too much. There you go. They'll do that a lot of times for their grip, but they'll also do it to wipe and put the ball. Now he's sweating. And his hands are getting too slick. He might have got something in his eye when he was trying to get it off his hands.
That's just what you want.
Oh yeah, a guy
throwing 100 with some vision issues. Yeah, Chris Iannetta, just get comfy up there.
Yep.
Could be his last batter of the night. 2 outs here in the 7th. He's over 100 pitches.
And he
quick pitched again.
Quick pitch. The guy was 3 for his last 40 something. He's got to be thinking, what a
why
tough league, man.
Fastball away.
Pulled foul.
That's right there. That's what I'm talking about. Look where that spot is. That ball's middle, inner, third, running, and Sal wants it away.
Fair ball. Long throw in time. Good play by Moustakas. 7th inning stretch in Kansas City, tied at 2. Time now for our high-strength performance brought to you by Chevy Silverado. And let's go back to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Hector Santiago in a jam. Runner at second, 1 out. He strikes out Eric Hosmer after intentionally walking Kendrys Morales. He gets Mike Moustakas to fly out to center and gets out of trouble. So it's still tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
And he got out of trouble with Moustakas when he fell behind 2-0. Threw a fastball away for a foul ball, and then the breaking ball that Moustakas got underneath and popped up to center.
Well, I mean, as a pitcher or as a pitching coach, the thing that excites you about both these guys tonight is how good they are with how far they have left to go.
Salvador Perez takes a strike, and the inning is underway.
Because to me, both of them are just a mechanical finish and mechanical tweak or two away from having that fastball command.
Right over the inside edge, 0-2. Activity in both bullpens. They're in a 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 7th. Trevor Gott is up in the Angels pen right now. Right-hander who's been on a roll lately.
Hard thrower.
Wade Davis is up now in the Kansas City pen as the 0-2 just misses inside, I guess.
That didn't miss. That was a great pitch.
That's one of the old remembrance where it crosses the plate.
Well, that wasn't even borderline either. Yeah, but that's not even borderline. And he makes it up. Can't do that.
Well, I don't know if he did it. I think this the way the strike zone's been the whole game. It's been a little inconsistent.
No, but the thing about it is, Crookie, the pitch he misses is not a borderline pitch. That's not a borderline pitch. Nothing about that is that's a big league strike anywhere anybody calls it. That. See, and Perez, I think, is doing it right. Like he's just
but he's doing it too long.
Yeah.
You know, you make your point. He doesn't throw you out. You go in the dugout.
And was it Perez who got tossed?
Was it? I thought it was Yost.
Or was it Yost?
Oh.
No, I think it's Perez.
That's Salvador Perez got run.
I'm gonna make a mistake on the side of the play. I think Sal knows how important he is to this. I don't know that he did anything to get rung.
I don't know if he said anything to get rung, but it was just too long.
Yeah.
You know, you say your piece a couple times. You know, that ball was in, that ball was in, that ball was down, whatever. And you know, you make your point, and then you move on. I think he lingered.
The difference, Dan, between good umpires and bad umpires, he missed. I know he missed that prior pitch. The good umpire will say, yeah, you know what, I missed that. Because as a player, I have no comeback for that. And if I do come back on that, then you throw me out, because that's what I'm looking to get done.
Is it maybe, can it also be instead of good and bad, experienced and young? This is a young umpire.
But for the most part, no. Good umpires are good umpires. And he may learn that over time. But the good ones, to me, always, that's how you neutralize an argument.
Quinn Wolcott, the home plate umpire. Now pitch on the corner. There's a called strike on Rios, 1-2.
And that's a borderline pitch. He called it a strike, and you know, Rios shows some disdain for that call too. But yeah, you remember the strikeout to David DeJesus last inning? That pitch was 6 to 8 inches outside.
Santiago slips on his follow through. No reason for the crowd to cheer that.
Well, I think they're cheering that he called the pitch a ball.
Yeah.
It takes, I think, younger umpires a little while to figure out, too, you don't want to be a part of the game.
Low 3-2.
For that reason right there. I mean, you got to remember, umpires are the visiting team every night. And it's a tough job.
But a hated visiting team every night.
Right. But like I said, the good ones understand that there are right and wrong ways to do this. Ed Rapuano, Steve Palermo, before his career ended very short, much shorter than it should have, they got it.
One hopper back to the mound. 2 down. First ejection of Salvador Perez's career.
And I'm going to tell you, as a pitcher, young catchers out there, one of your bigger jobs is managing that game behind the plate and umpires. Now, I don't have a problem with Salvador Perez arguing the pitch calling, but he knew, John, he's pushing himself at the line at some point. And if he wasn't warned, then that's Wolcott's fault. But at the end of the day, you're my catcher. You got to protect. Yeah. You got to talk to the umpire for me. You got to keep him in the game and make him as consistent as you can. And I guarantee you, Ned Yost knew that too as a catcher.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what Salvador Perez said. The thing with me was you can't argue balls and strikes. You can discuss them, but you can't argue them. But you can't stay out there that long and not expect to get thrown out at some point.
Well, the veteran catcher goes out warm-ups next inning and sits down and says, hey, you know, that ball's down or whatever, but he keeps himself in the game.
Guys, I've heard coaches bring this sort of thing up. Should someone have gone out there sooner to get Salvador Perez?
Well, you know what? They're 12 games up, and I'm not so sure him getting a couple innings rest is a bad thing. But, yeah, absolutely.
By the way, Quinn Wolcott working the plate tonight has had 3 calls reversed by replay in this series already. 2 when he was at second base, 1 when he was at first base. Legendary PR director Mike Swanson telling us, and all 3 of them were overturned in the Royals' favor.
Legendary.
He's legendary, don't you
No,
think?
Swanee is not legendary.
He told
in
me
his
he
own
was.
mind.
Okay. Yeah, he told you he was.
But you know, the strike zone, the whole game has been inconsistent.
It's moved.
It has. It's changed, and that's the frustrating part as a hitter. Is if it's a strike at one point, it should be a strike, you know, the whole game.
Strike one needs to be strike 3.
Yeah, but sometimes it changes, and it seems like to have changed in this game, but it has been a bigger strike zone.
And a swing and a miss and a good changeup to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down. A couple of strikeouts, including a controversial one that results in Salvador Perez getting tossed. $1 Daredevil loaded grillers. Try all 3 if you dare. And in part by Chevrolet. Find new roads. And the new movie No Escape in theaters everywhere August 26th. So Salvador Perez ejected from the game, and that means that Drew Butera has to relocate. He was warming people up down in the bullpen. He's got a feel for Wade Davis, though. He was warming up Davis in the bullpen, and now they both come into the game. Butera to catch and Davis to pitch. And again, as we mentioned, he's had some tightness in his back. He has not pitched often. Pitched on Thursday, gave up a couple of runs, but look at those numbers. ERA under 1, WHIP well under 1, strikeout to walk ratio over 4. Giavotella leads off the inning for the Angels. They'll be followed by Calhoun and Trout. Rocky is a hitter. What makes Davis so tough?
Well, you saw that pitch right there, mid-90s, and it's cutting away from Johnny Giavotella. But you know, he has a great changeup, a great breaking ball. It's, you know, everything he throws is a quality pitch. Look at that, 98 down and in. That's the same pitch.
Paint.
But that's the same pitch that Salvador Perez got called out on.
Yep. This guy is very much a pitcher, not a thrower, and you can see it in the way his stuff, the way he moves it.
Breaking ball in the dirt.
But he pitches at 98.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't mind a guy who's a thrower that throws hard, because you know eventually at some point he's probably going to make a mistake out over the plate. But Wade Davis doesn't make those mistakes too often, if he does at all.
Like that. And of the 3 guys at the back end of their bullpen, to me, this is the guy I would least like to hit off of.
Just numbers that don't look real. I mean, they don't look like they make sense.
No.
Giavotella 2 for 3 in his career against Davis. Did he go? He did not, says first base umpire Gary Seaverstrom.
I thought he did.
I thought he did too.
It's because he did.
Intent to swing. I intended to swing at every pitch ever thrown to me. At some point I decided not to, but I intended to swing at that pitch.
Mind readers.
3-2. In the air to right. Easy play for Rios. Follow your favorite team and players all season with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat now. Here's Cole Calhoun, tripled and scored his last time up. The Angels' first run of the night, that was in the 6th inning. David Murphy later in the inning with a homer. That tied the game at 2. It remains tied at 2 as the Angels bat here in the 8th. And the breaking ball is hit high and deep to right field. Rios back, running out of room. It is gone. And the Angels have taken the lead here in the 8th inning.
You hung a breaking ball, Crookie.
Well, this is why you bat Cole Calhoun in front of Trout and Pujols. The guy can hit, and when he knows he's going to get pitched to, and you know, it's such a more comforting feeling. But that's just a hanger by Wade Davis, and you see as soon as it left the bat, Wade Davis just dropped his head like, you know, that sound has been heard. Look at Davis. He knew exactly when that ball left the bat. But, you know, Cole Calhoun just stays on that ball about as good as you can with someone throwing as hard as Wade Davis can.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, he's struggling behind the plate right now.
A little bit.
Trout's 0 for 3, hitting under 200 so far in the month of August. Just missed.
I think there's, he comes out with an article that I'm not going to swing at the first pitch because it makes me jump. I feel like I jump. So now it's 0-1, and I think right now Mike, as great as he is there's a little bit of confusion going on because he swung at the first pitch, his second at bat, and popped it up.
Guys, Wade Davis didn't allow a home run throughout the entire 2014 season. He didn't through the first 4 months of this season, but he allowed a home run on August 1st, and now his second of the month.
They might release him.
So he actually has blood and bleeds like a human.
Now to play 2-2.
And you see it right there. They're just the way he's walking around after swings. And
what's he thinking right now?
Well,
what's going through your head as a hitter right here?
Sometimes confusion sets in, like you're late on the fastball, you're ahead of the breaking ball.
So what are you What are you saying to yourself?
I wish I knew. I'd help everyone. But you see him right there.
But I'm saying you're saying mentally you're confused.
Yeah.
What's the confusion?
Well, it happens to everyone at some point. It just took him 4 years, where most guys it takes about 2 months into the big leagues. You're behind on the fastball, you're ahead of the breaking ball. Now he's liable to throw a breaking ball right here, and he's liable to hammer it.
Fastball, and he fouls it off into the upper deck on the right side.
And see, Dan, I've talked about Ventura all night in the command. This is what 99 command looks like. When he misses where he wants to miss. And this is the guy, this is what Ventura ends up becoming when he gets that fastball command. Better make sure he buries this one.
Got a ground ball to short, backhanded by Escobar. Trout out by a step.
Breaking ball to Mike Trout was a good one down, and that's why he got the ground ball. But this one isn't down; it's thigh high. Look how Calhoun just stays back on that ball, just like he saw it out of Wade Davis's hand so good. He timed it perfectly. A lot of power in that man right there. And
looks a little bit like Shambi. Ooh,
wow, he has a lot more talent.
Oh, he's a lot better looking than
Shambi does.
A few innings ago, you guys were singing the praises of Shambi.
Well, he's not here
turn
now.
on people.
He's not here.
Don't
now.
I know it?
Yeah. There he is. Look
there he is.
I'll tell you the other
thing. Real professional.
Seriously.
Yeah, not letting the analysts talk.
Swing and a miss. 99 up at the letters.
I've always been an advocate watching player development. You don't draft relievers, and I think Wade Davis is why. You can always improve a guy's stuff when you move him from the rotation to the pen, and not vice versa.
I used to think how hard Ventura could throw if he knew he had to come in for 1 inning.
Yeah. But like that's unhittable right there.
Yeah.
99 down and away. In a 1-1 count, he goes to the 1-2 count, which that's the biggest swing in baseball, that 1-1 pitch.
th pitch of the inning upcoming here for Davis. He's given up a home run to Calhoun. The Angels have the lead. Down low. Pujols, a couple of ground outs, sandwiched around a base hit tonight.
Saw that finish. See him spin around there, Dan?
Yep.
Same 99 as the pitch before. He tried to throw harder, didn't throw any harder, and lost the command.
Breaking ball and another ground ball to short. That'll end the inning. But the Angels have taken the lead. Cole Calhoun, who tripled earlier tonight, homers off Wade Davis to the bottom of the 8th. Angels 3, Royals 2. Royals see the Giants and the Cardinals. Wednesday night, it'll be the Tigers and the Cubs at 8 Eastern. And then Sunday Night Baseball, 1 week from tonight, we're heading back to Pittsburgh. The Pirates hosting the Giants. Changes for the Angels. Ryan Jackson just had his contract purchased by the Angels today. They made a number of roster moves today. He will come in to play third base in place of Conor Gillespie. And here's Joe Smith on to work the 8th inning with a 1-run lead. Top of the order for the Royals: Escobar, Zobrist, and Kane. Escobar tonight 1 for 3. Singleton scored way back in the first. 3 hits on the night for the Royals. They all came in the first inning. Hector Santiago went 6 more innings and did not give up another hit. Chopper back to the mound, and an easy play for out number 1. Greg Holland, Kansas City closer, is up in the pen. Royals down a run here in the bottom of the 8th. Holland pitched on Thursday and Friday in this series. Side armor in with a pitch for a strike. The Royals do not play tomorrow. They open up a series Tuesday night at Cincinnati. And another ground ball back to the mound. A good play by Smith. 2 down.
Best athletes on the field.
Well,
Cat-like reflexes. This is one of the things about your finish and follow through, especially as a reliever and a sinker baller, being able to be one of the turning into a defender as soon as they go the ball. He squared up to the plate. And again, best athletes on the field, Crocky.
Yeah, I'm going to dispute that, but I just think the pitches he's made, the 5 pitches that he's made, have all been executed perfectly.
Yep.
But you're right. When you're a side armor, you're not a high velocity guy. You're not a big strikeout guy. You know, you got to be able to field your position because you're going to get a lot of grounders.
Here's Lorenzo Cain, and a pitch over the outside corner for a strike. Cain 0 for 3 on the night as he takes a little inside. Let's take a look at Lorenzo Cain's spray chart. All of his hits this season, and as you can see, he uses the entire field.
You want to beat the shift? You don't want to be shifted? There you go. Look where all the defenders are playing. Straight up. They have no choice.
Fouled off. Hit his bat twice.
Should that be 2 strikes?
One's going out, one's coming back. One, 2.
Absolutely.
Barreled that second one up.
Oh, close but no.
That was a pitch right there where you don't swing at it, even though it fooled you, because you know you can't hit it.
Yeah, everybody got struck out on that one.
Yeah.
But it sets up this pitch.
90-mile-an-hour two-seamer down and in, swung on and missed to end the inning. A very good inning for Joe Smith, and the Angels still have their lead now at the end of 8. Angels 3-2, top 9. Holland did not pitch yesterday, did pitch Thursday and Friday. Off day for the Royals tomorrow. Atypical numbers for Holland, who has not had the same kind of success this year that he has had the last few years. Velocity's down a touch. He had an ugly one on Thursday in the opening game of this series. He faced 6 batters, Crucky. He didn't retire any of them. Gave up 4 runs, but then he bounced back Friday night and had an inning where he gave up 1 hit, but did strike out the other 3 batters.
Yeah, and that's the issue you have being a closer, is one bad inning, your ERA spikes up, and everyone thinks you're having a bad year. But you know, to me, the stuff is still there. When I watched him pitch this weekend, the 2 games he pitched, the stuff is still there. It just, location hasn't been very good for him, and that pitch right there is a perfect example. It was a hanging split that, you know, that normally gets hit pretty hard, but he got away with it.
Ground ball to short, 1 down. Well, the strength of this team last couple of years has, one of the strengths has undoubtedly been the bullpen, and especially these 3 guys, Herrera, Davis, Holland. By their standards, which are admittedly extremely high, and small sample alert here on these numbers, but they have been struggling recently. Davis gives up the home run tonight. Holland had a tough one Thursday, as did Davis. Schill, if you're the Royals, any concern over the back end of the bullpen?
No, not the 12 earned runs in 15 innings is when they gave up 12 earned runs in the last 2 calendar years. Yeah, I mean, but like you said, they set a bar that pretty much they're the only ones that could keep. And this is the big leagues, and as good as you are, you got to remember the best. You're playing against the best players in the world, and they'll get you. And these guys, every inning they pitch is a high leverage inning. That's one of the big differences, because you have hitters. You're facing. You don't face a pitcher. You face a pinch hitter. Some of the game's better pinch hitters. But the long-winded answer, which I am confident I usually give, is that
question
is the Royals. The Royals, no, this is not something you worry about, because you're still better than everybody else in baseball.
I mean, Herrera's still topping out at 100. Davis is topping out at 99, and Holland's still topping out at 96. So the raw velocity is still there.
Yeah, and we talk about this, but the command, sometimes when you throw, and Davis is I think the one true pitcher in the 3. The other, Herrera gets away with it because he throws so dang hard, and I think Greg does too. Greg is more of a pitcher as well, but gets caught throwing that 2-strike ground ball was a great example of him overthrowing a little bit.
Little pop-up, shallow right center, and caught. Kane racing over from center field to make the play.
Wow. All right, you got to explain this one to me, Craig. He slowed down.
Well, he started out in left center.
But watch him. He takes off, and then he'll slow down looking at the right fielder, and then all of a sudden speed up again.
Yeah, well, and you notice he never called for the ball. He just looked at Alex Rios. He said, okay, Alex isn't getting to this one, so I'm just going to go get it. And, you know, they should be happy about that. That's a lot of gifts that most don't have.
Well, one of the things that Ned Yo said to us today, right, was one of the things what surprised him was he didn't realize he was this fast.
And that he's gotten faster, he feels like, during his time in the big leagues.
Well, there's game speed and there's sprint speed, right? I mean, you see the NFL guys run the 40 and 4.3 without pads. That translates to a different game speed time. His strides are just ridiculous. Devon White.
There's Ryan Jackson. Contract just purchased today. A little bit of time with the Cardinals previously. Up in the Angels' pen, their closer, Houston Street.
And he's a guy who has to pitch. Not going to be overpowering, but a lot of finesse and movement.
To his left, Escobar spins, fires, got him. Terrific defense on display by one of the best defensive teams in baseball, the Kansas City Royals. But they're down a run, going to the bottom of the 9th. 4, 5, 6 coming up. Street coming in. tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPN2. The next MLB telecast on ESPN tomorrow night. Giants and Cardinals beginning at 8 Eastern. Sports Center coming up next. John Buccigross, John Anderson. Man, it is noisy here as we go to the bottom of the ninth. Angels 3, Royals 2. Houston Street in 4, 5, 6 coming up for Kansas City.
So I got to ask you, Crucky, you're a left-handed hitter in this situation. You can drive the ball. You're down a run. Obviously, you'd love to tie it up, but your job is actually your leadoff hitter right here.
Yeah,
you got to get on base.
Yeah, that's the goal, to get on base. The bigger goal would be to hit a double or a triple. But you look where Mike Trout's playing here. Playing Hosmer shaded to left field, and Houston Street, the first 2 pitches have missed in. If you want to get Eric Hosmer to hit a ball the other way, you got to pitch him away. He's pitching him in. Now he's going to try to go away.
And he missed ball 3.
It's not. No. Houston Streets
just created a bigger mess for himself.
Yep.
A strike, 3-1. Hosmer has faced Street once, and he homered off him.
Well, I think this 3-1 pitch is what he's looking to do here.
Yep.
Try to get some up in the zone, elevate it a little bit from Houston Street, and see if he can take advantage. And then if you get 3-2, you just go to work and try to battle. But he's looking for extra bases here.
Outside, ball 4. Now Kendrys Morales, who has been so good for the Royals this year.
Well, the last thing you want to do is to walk the leadoff hitter. The second worst thing you want to do is have conflict with the umpire on the first hitter you faced in the game.
Changeup in for a strike.
The challenge here, especially with a guy that hits like Kendry does, you can throw a good changeup in the strike zone, and he can get out in front and hook that ball about as good as anybody.
You saw Morales 2 for 3 with a home run off Street. Street 27 for 30 in save situations this year. Runner going. Pitch hit out in front of the plate. Iannetta in plenty of time to get Morales, who does not run well, the tying run to second.
Watch Eric Hosmer. He just takes off. Houston Street not even paying attention. Looked like he would have had that stolen base easy. But you see Hosmer sliding head first into second base with Jackson over covering at shortstop on the shift. If Hosmer could have read that better and taken a peek in at Iannetta, he possibly could have kept going and going to third base. And been on third base with only 1 out once Iannetta threw the ball to first base.
The Moose is up. And they're going to put the winning run on base.
Well, and the reason why you can do this easily without much thought, yes, it's a righty-lefty matchup. Moustakas the left-hander, but since Salvador Perez got thrown out, Drew Butera, who, pretty good defensive catcher, but he's not the offensive player at all that Salvador Perez is. Yeah, this is why you have to stay in games.
I got to tell you that his whole career, Houston Street. I don't know if you remember Doug Jones, changeup, Trevor Hoffman. Never ever overpowered you, but always kind of sat back and allowed hitters to get themselves out late in the game.
Ventura was acquired by Kansas City from the Angels back on the 7th of May for Ryan Jackson, who's in the game right now. He has had 60 at-bats with the Royals, 12 hits, a 200 average. Overall, including his Angels numbers, a 198 batter on the season.
I guess two things are happening with this little meeting right here. One, they're mixing the signs up with a runner on second, changing them. And two, second base, giving the middle infielders an idea of how this is going to go so they can be in the right position.
You saw Gerard Dyson, in one of the fastest guys in baseball, and a pinch run at first. Houston Street, a very experienced closer, more than 300 saves in his career. In a bit of a jam here.
I'll tell you what I saw in between all this talking and everything, Eric Ibar was coaching. He told Albert, you know, with Dyson speed, give me the ball because I'm not coming back to you. I'm checking third. And then he told Jackson over third, he said, hey, if the ball's hit to my right, I'm coming to you for the fourth. That's letting everyone know what to do and, you know, in every situation possible.
You saw right there, actually, Houston Street motioning to Giatabella to move over.
2 on, 1 out, bottom 9. Ball 1.
And what it does too, bringing Dyson in, if there's a ground ball, a slowly hit ground ball, he has a better chance of beating it out at second base than Moustakas does. Even if they get the out at first, the winning run is still at second base.
Righties hitting just 165 off Houston Street this season. 13 for 79.
One thing that tells you is that he commands the ball away well, both with his fastball and his slider.
One and two.
So they're going second sign or sign after 2.
I know something else that you notice with Houston Street. He's not even looking at Hosmer. That last pitch, he never even gave him a look.
Good block.
Great block.
You watch Iannetta right here. He's not trying to catch this ball. All he's trying to do is try to kill it. But you watch the angle of his body right there. His body's angled forward, so if it hits the chest protector, it's going to bounce straight in front of him instead of possibly bouncing to either side off of him and letting Hosmer and Dyson advance. I'm wondering if Hosmer might start thinking about running here with sliders. He has yet to give Hosmer a look.
I wonder if Hosmer's picked. They're going second sign, and I'm wondering if Hosmer's trying to watch the body language. So what would you give if you're given location or pitch, Craig? Hands on the hips?
Yeah, like sometimes you know, depending on, you know, you take your lead, like you put your hands on your knee, and if the pitch is
or you reach up right or left.
The pitch is in, you might put your hand on your right knee, but not on your left knee, or vice versa. Here's going to be the interesting call. Nedjos,
I'm saying slider.
They've been aggressive.
You're saying what?
Slider.
Oh, slider?
Yep.
What do you say?
You know, Drew Butera hasn't proven yet that, you know, what type of hitter he is. I don't know.
You send him here, you go straight.
That's what I mean. Though this is the tough decision right now, because the last thing you want to do is make the last out at third if Butera strikes out. I think they're staying.
And he takes ball 4 to load the bases.
they were counting on a hitter who doesn't get a lot of at-bats being impatient in a situation to kind of make a season go right. And kudos, hats off. He was a good at-bat.
Yeah, a lot of guys were hitting, not great offensive players. They try to become heroes in those at-bats, and they just start swinging. But Drew Butera had a great at-bat right there, and now you got action.
Well, this entire at-bat is about Houston Street trying to get Alex Rios to hit a slider and ground into a double play.
Alex Rios 3 for 9 in his career against Street. Tying run at third, winning run at second. Gerard Dyson, great speed, the runner out at second. And a strike right over the outside corner. Rios, a quick discussion with Quinn Walcott, the home plate umpire.
Well, Rios wasn't happy his last at bat with the home plate umpire on some of the calls. Showed some a little, and he's not going to say anything, but for him, a disgusted look is like cursing someone, really.
Brucky, given the speed of Dyson at second, talk to me about where the outfielders are playing. You comfortable with it right now?
Well, not really. I think they should be a little more shallow. Especially, Mike Trout, not a great throwing arm. David DeJesus, Cole Calhoun has a great arm. David DeJesus a little bit above average, but you're not going to throw Dyson out from that depth.
Fly ball to right field. Calhoun coming over, makes the catch. Hosmer tags. Throw to the plate, not in time, and the game is tied. Dyson to third on the play.
Houston Street's not going to give you anything middle in to try to pull this pitch away. Alex Rios stays on it. Just what you have to do. Just enough to score Hosmer, who can run for a first baseman. But the key is now Dyson goes to third. So any ball in the dirt right now that bounces anywhere away from Chris Iannetta, don't be surprised if Dyson doesn't take off and try to score.
Fourth blown save of the season for Street. And a high slider for a strike. 0-1 to Paulo Orlando.
That was a hanger.
And this is interesting too. It's Drew Butera on first, probably not going to steal, but there's 2 outs. Dyson's the only one you're worried about. Albert's giving himself less range to cover with holding Butera on. Now with 2 strikes, he's going to move back. I guess before 2 strikes, he was just thinking, okay, I'm going to play up for the bunt, but you got to give yourself some room here because Drew Butera means nothing right now.
Runner goes from first. Swinging a fly ball, right center. Trout makes the catch. A game-saving catch in deep right center by Mike Trout. That close to a Royals win. We're heading to extra innings. center. If it drops, the Royals win. Mike Trout having none of it. Orlando says it's game over. Woo-hoo. It's game over.
Premature celebration with one of the fastest men in baseball in center field. And why he's an MVP and possibly an MVP back-to-back. Houston Street happy that this game is continuing, but
I get it.
That's
No, but I get it because you're the only team that ever usually does that.
Yeah,
that's routine for the Royals.
Changes now for the Royals as we go to extra innings. The versatile Ben Zobrist moves to third base after Mike Moustakas was lifted for the pinch runner. Omar Infante is into the game at second base, and the new pitcher for Kansas City, yet another hard-throwing right-hander out of their bullpen, Kelvin Herrera. As we go to the 10th, tied at 3. By the way, the Royals still have not had a hit since the first inning. Although they scored a run in the 9th and tied the game, they have not had a hit since the first when they got 3. And a fastball at 98 in for a strike to David DeJesus. Kansas City bench has now been exhausted with the moves that have been made tonight and the ejection of Perez bringing in Ventura. They only have a 3-man bench there. They've all been used.
Guess this is what we're going to have from here on out.
Yeah.
Good thing we're in the American League.
That's right. DeJesus, Iannetta, then back to the top of the order for Giavotella.
Your rib plate's open.
You need more ribs?
Just don't assume. I'm just curious.
Good Lord.
I'm going to win the bet.
Why don't you text George? See if George can bring you some more. Caught by a sliding Zobrist, one down.
Well, this is how valuable Ben Zobrist is. Just put him anywhere. We talked about it today, and he said, I'm trying to get used to left field. I'm not quite used to it yet. And I said, yeah, but 4 at bats is pretty good. And he said, yeah, I love that part. It never complains. Put him in left, put him at second, put him in right, put him at third. I'm sure if you asked him to catch, he'd do that too.
And he's not just a utility guy. He's good at the positions he plays. And
he's an everyday
player.
He's an everyday utility guy, if that makes sense.
Well, there you go.
Well, if everything except for pitcher and catcher, third base is his least familiar position.
I bet he could catch too if you ask him to.
Oh, yeah. And he hits no matter where he's at too. But in the day and age of, especially now, the interleague play schedule, those roster spots become invaluable. Brock Holt with the Red Sox this year. They're not just playing other positions. Yeah. They're good.
Remember, Tony Phillips was a guy like that. He could play anywhere.
And get on about 90% of the time, too.
Yeah. 1-1 the count on Chris Iannetta, 0 for 2 with a walk. 3 for his last 42.
Why do you guys always asking the umpires? Is that a strike?
Davis worked the 8th, gave up a run. Holland worked the 9th, 3 up, 3 down. Herrera now on in the 10th. Down and away at 101.
And a quick pitch 101.
So it's like 105, really?
I don't know. It could have been fun. That's one of those, as soon as it leaves his hand, you can't do anything with it because he quick pitched you.
So it's a quick pitching epidemic right now.
And you hope, yeah.
Just high with a slider, full count.
As a pitcher, I'm not sure you ever get mad at those balls not being called strikes because you're not trying to throw that pitch. That's a bad slider.
But when the pitch before it's 101,
yeah, Any pitch is good.
Yeah, any slider's a good one.
2 down.
That was just a solid Hyundai.
No, there's no.
It's just, I'm not walking you. You're struggling, I'm not walking you. Dot the center of the plate. If you can hit it, you can hit it. But here comes 100. But it ain't going to be. Even if you take it, there's no way you can even think this is a ball. That was funny about that Little League when that kid was throwing 150. Threw a pitch outside and knocked the catcher's glove off.
Really?
Oh, he was upset too.
2 down. Here's Giavitello for 4.
That's a changeup at 92. Not bad.
Get me over.
Yeah, I just, want to get ahead.
I think, that changeup was faster than any fastball Santiago threw.
Faster than most guys' fastballs have ever thrown.
Just a little late at 101, and it's 0-2. I mean, what you faced 100? What are you trying to do? What's your thought process?
Well, what you're trying to do as a hitter is hope he doesn't throw anything else. Because you could time 101, 102, but if you're trying to hit a slider and a changeup off of that, or a curveball and a changeup off that, you got no chance. You got to hope he makes a mistake at 100 and you hit it.
Fly ball right field. Inning over. We will go to the bottom of the 10th. Top of the order coming up for the Royals. John Buchgrass and John Anderson among the day's big stories. The final round of the PGA Championship. Chris Sale with a big afternoon against the Chicago Cubs, and a SportsCenter feature on Cubs manager Joe Mauer.
Good time to do a SportsCenter feature when his team just got struck out 15 times.
Oh, Chris Sale will do that to you.
That's a strikeout pitcher against a lineup that can swing and miss a little bit.
We go to the bottom of the 10th. Trevor Gott is on for the Angels. He's got a streak of 12 consecutive outings without allowing an earned run.
Above average fastball from what I remember seeing him earlier this week.
Top of the order, Escobar, Zobrist, and Kane.
Above average in this game
Well,
or
he's
overall?
below average in this game, only 96 or so. 97.
Big sinker guy.
Finesse pitcher.
One hopper to second. One pitch, one out.
See, 97. Yeah.
And as we mentioned an inning ago, the Royals do not have a hit since the first inning. They had 3 in the first inning, scored a run without a hit in the 9th inning, but still have just the 3 hits on the night. Hector Santiago went 7, 2 runs on 3 hits. Joe Smith the 8th. Houston Street gave up the run, blew the save in the 9th. Trevor Gott now here in the 10th. Zobrist 1 for 3 with a walk.
What happens if we go into 12th inning, 13th inning?
On your scorecard?
Yeah, well, what do we do then?
Because it only goes 12 innings?
Yeah, that's why I stop after 6.
Yeah, that's why.
So yeah, Iannetta caught that ball. That has to hurt.
Yeah.
It has to.
And a base hit through the right side for Zobrist. Boy, has he been good for Kansas City.
You know, Ben Zobrist is a guy that'd be good for any team to pick up. But you see Gott right here trying to throw that fastball. Iannetta wanted it away. It leaks back in, and Ben Zobrist can hook anyone's fastball with the best of them. You know, you hit it hard enough on the ground, it's going to get through most of the time, and that's all you can ask for right now. And you know, now what this does is, unless there's a double play off the bat of Lorenzo Cain, it brings up Eric Hosmer in this inning. And there's no one else warming up in the Angels bullpen, so it's Gott's game.
Cain 0 for 4. Chopper foul, 0-1 on Cain. The Royals are 6-2 in extra innings this year. The Angels are 4-6. Zobrist, decent speed at first, held by Pujols. 0-1. And a strike called by home plate umpire Quinn Walcott. It's 0-2. Cain 1 foot outside the box as he adjusts the batting gloves a couple of times. Immensely popular here. Made a great running catch, covered a huge amount of ground earlier in the night for Kansas City as he takes down an away ball 1.
That's where Gott needs talking to some people with the Angels. That's where he really has to get those secondary pitches solidified. That's a slider that just really, like you always say, a non-competitive pitch. That's pretty competitive.
Well, you put 96 and 97. That's a tight slider, but it's got to be something you have to worry about as a hitter, and it's not if you don't throw it for a strike.
Yeah.
Well, you saw the approach. These guys are seeing him for the first time this inning. They've come out swinging because they clearly, the video and scouting report says, hey, gets ahead fastball.
One-two again, breaking ball, hit in the air, right center, playable for Trout. Zobrist halfway, the catch made. Zobrist retreats, 2 down. Now, Eric Hosmer. An RBI single, a walk, a strikeout, and another walk. A 10-game streak of driving in at least a run. If they're maybe thinking ambush on the first pitch, drive one in the gap.
Yes. Yeah, if Gott throws a fastball
or slider.
Missed with a backdoor breaking ball of some description.
But you see how it looks like Gott slows up to throw. It looks like he slows everything up to throw the slider. Like I'm aiming this for, trying to throw it for a strike and aiming it. His fastball, he's more fluid and. See how the fastball is just get it and go. And the slider looks like there's a little slow up to it, and trust me, they know it by now.
Waiting on deck, an equally dangerous hitter to Kendrys Morales, a guy who's been incredibly clutch for the Royals this year.
Last ball away.
Right on the edge, 2-1.
You saw Hosmer there open up. He's trying to get something he can yank, but you know the Angels outfield is, there's no double defense. If it goes over their heads, it's a homer. Look how deep they are. De Jesus is almost on the warning track. Trout and Calhoun are close also.
Ball 3.
You know, I thought it was kind of cool early in my career watching outfielders. When I was young in Baltimore, Brady Anderson and Mike Devereaux and Steve Finley, real athletic guys. They used to play to their strength. If they came in better on balls, they would play They would play deep. If they went back better on balls, they play shallow.
Foul to back and a full count. Big swing by Hosmer.
See that? He's just trying to hit that single the other way. Well, this is what you do with 3-1 count. You know, you're not looking to try to hit a little jam shot single the other way. You're trying to get out in front of one. Ball was still by him, but you know, now 3-2. Here goes Zobrist running. Albert trying to keep him a little close, but he's going to get a good jump. A long single can score him.
Oh, ball 4 inside. The winning run to second, and here comes Morales.
Yeah, you go from a guy who's driven in a run in 10 straight games to a guy that's one of the tops in baseball in RBIs. Pick your poison. And here, the outfield has to move in now. If I'm David DeJesus, and Mike Trout, I'm shading him. You know, to me, when I watch Kendrys Morales hit, he took a book out of Tony Perez's book, and I talked to Tony about driving in runs. He always said, you know, they're probably not going to give you anything to pull, so look to go the other way, up the middle and the other way. He said that's how you drive in most of your runs, and that's what Kendrys Morales, to me, when you watch him play, that's what it looks like he tries to do.
He's hitting .344 this season with runners in scoring position. That's pretty good. Not bad. He's got a chance to win a ball game with a base hit here.
I think this place will get loud if he does. Ibar's leaving a big hole too, trying to keep Zobrist close, but there's a big hole right there that Kendrys Morales can shoot a ball through.
Do you like that gamble or that strategy?
That depends. If you're going to pitch him in, I do. But you know, you're giving a guy who's a veteran hitter like Kendrys Morales and a proven RBI guy, you're giving him, you know, you're just okay. I got half the plate to work with.
You defend the spray charts and his tendencies, but you have, as a pitcher, you have to execute the pitches to hit into the defense.
Liner in the left field, a base hit. Rounding third, heading home, Zobrist, and the Royals win it. Tough loss and a tough road trip for the Angels. They lose 6 out of 7 on this trip. The Royals stay hot.
Looked like a changeup right there by Guy.
Saw him slow up.
That's a tough time to throw a changeup when you're featuring 97. But yeah, it's like I said, Kendrys Morales looks to go the other way. Line drive to left center to Jesus. No chance of throwing Zobrist out. Because of where Ibar was playing, Zobrist got a great read off that line drive. He didn't have to worry about it. Ibar catching it, and then the celebration begins.
A comeback win for the Royals. They get a run in the 9th to tie it. They get a run in the 10th to win it. I think Zobrist is happy to be in Kansas City. I think Morales is happy to be in Kansas City. As the beat rolls on, they're 25 games over 500. Let's go down to field level. Buster Olney's with Eric Hosmer somewhere in that celebration.
Yeah, that's cold, man.
Yeah, they got the sneaky, they had the okey doke right there. He got me on it.
Tell me what your emotions were when Mike Trout makes that catch in the previous inning.
Oh, man, I mean, you think the game's over at that point. You know, you look at the ball and you look where he's at, and really didn't think he had a chance to catch it. But, you know, he covered some ground out there, and he made a terrific catch. But, you know, this team fought to the end and found a way to win.
Walk me through your at-bat as you set up that situation.
Well, you know, knowing you got a guy that throws a good fastball, you want to be on time. You don't want to miss it, and just trying to stay in my zone. You know, the way Kendrick Morales has been swinging the bat the whole year for us, you got to stay inside the zone. If they don't give you anything to hit, then, you know, keep the line moving and just get on base for him.
What has Morales brought to the table this year for you guys?
Just protection in the lineup, you know, a power bat from both sides of the plate, and just an even better guy in the clubhouse. You know, he's a great guy to have around, and, you know, he hadn't had a bad day the whole season so far this year, and, you know, he's been quite an addition to our team.
You guys have a 12-game lead with 45 games to go. How do you keep the intensity going?
Just coming out here playing in these type of atmospheres. You know, this crowd's second to none. Playing home field here is truly an honor to play here, and it's a lot of fun. So, you know, the crowd keeps us in it, and that's what keeps the intensity up.
Eric, thanks.
A big win for the Royals, an exciting game, an extra innings win as Kendrick Morales drives into Benzovers. Derek Hosmer in the middle of it as well, and the Royals walk it off 4-3 in 10 innings. For John Kruk, Kurt Schilling, Buster Olney, and our entire crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Kansas City. Let's send it back to Sports Center with John Buchagras and John Anderson. Fellas.